Rodgers seems to be the guy they want to handle the ball. This is Rodgers, 8 yards deep. He'll down it and they'll bring it out. Touchback to start the game. So Matt Ryan comes out, enters his 5th year in the National Football League, 27 years old, set a franchise record last year for most passing yards in a season. He seems to continue to grow, Charles.
And having Dirk Cutter coming in now with fresh ideas and maybe talking to him with a different voice, he and Mike Mularkey were a nice pairing, and Atlanta's put up nice numbers on offense. Sometimes a change in voice and maybe a few fresh ideas will really take him to another level.
First down and 10, the preseason underway. Turner straight ahead for a tough couple of yards. Our starting lineups tonight presented by Bud Light. We mentioned Matt Ryan. The offensive line needs to improve. Baker's on the hot seat. Blaylock, McClure, Reynolds, and Claybo up front. They average 309 pounds. Michael Turner is your Pro Bowl running back. 1,340 yards last year. Roddy White and Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, all-star cast. Second down. Turner still the setback. Left side, tough one. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Ravens defense, and it's a good one. The Ravens defense a little banged up, though. Haloti Ngata, he missed some time last week with a sore hamstring. Cody and Jones, the linebackers still led by 37-year-old Ray Lewis. Upshaw's a little knocked up. Terrell Jones is out. He was the defensive player of the year. And the secondary is solid, but there's no question who the superstar is. It's Ed Reed out of the U. 3rd down, they need 4. They've got it. Roddy White has the first down, his first catch of the preseason.
Talk about two guys who have the special chemistry, Tim. Roddy White and Matt Ryan have been together for a pretty good while now. Matt Ryan enters the league. Roddy White's his #1 receiver, and they've clicked really from day one and have only gotten better. They have that special telepathy that quarterback and #1 receiver have to possess.
Play action. Ryan looks left. Julio Jones to the 40, down to the 35-yard line. And the Falcons are on the move.
And what we just got there, partner, were back-to-back explosive plays. And watch Atlanta now. After this big play to Julio Jones, they're right back at the line of scrimmage ready to attack Baltimore. We're seeing more and more of that in the game. When you get a big play on offense, Tim, people want to run to the line of scrimmage and continue to attack.
That's Dirk Cutter for you. Gain of 26. No team in the NFL scores more points in the opening drive than do the Falcons over the last 4 years. Quick pass to the outside. Jones has a blocker. Down to the 20. Inside the 20. Breaks the tackle to the 15. Ladarius Webb makes the stop. But Jones with his second catch. And a gain of 20.
And we talked at the top about Dirk Cutter putting the ball in the hands of his playmakers. Michael Turner running it. We've seen Julio Jones with a deep shot down the field catching it. Now we see him on a screen. Roddy White has touched it. The only one that hasn't touched it yet, Tony Gonzalez, the tight end.
Falcons have the ball inside the 20. And so now they're in the Ford drive zone. Ryan again looks to the outside. Did he hold on? Julio Jones, 3rd catch this drive. They'll move it down to the 11.
Remember all the talk last year about how much the Falcons gave up to move up in the draft to get Julio Jones. The word explosive. The offense wanted to get more explosive. Almost became an albatross around the necks of the Falcons last year. But just watching this first drive, you understand why Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, wanted to make this move, don't you?
Second down, they need 4. He's done a nice job, hasn't he, Charles?
Really has. I mean, he, Mike Smith, of course, Arthur Blank, architects of this franchise, and what they've done with their fortunes, been fantastic.
Inside the 10, Turner bangs his way down to the 7.
And this is an interesting spot here, Tim, because we talked at the top about the offensive line needing to win some of those battles up front. You know, here we are, probably 3rd and short. This is what hurt them against the Giants last year. Remember the game against the Saints when they couldn't pick up the first down? Can this offensive line fire off and knock people back and allow these running backs to pick up crucial first downs in short yardage situations?
Paul Kruger did a nice job to stop the first. They need one on third down. Going to the corner to Jones. Touchdown Atlanta. Julio Jones, his 4th catch of the drive. He beat Kerry Williams.
This is a really well-thrown ball by Matt Ryan, but watch how Julio Jones wraps around Kerry Williams, reaches over, and starts with a one-hand catch before he's able to get his second hand in to secure the catch.
How about Julio Jones with 4 catches, 58 yards, and the 7-yard touchdown catch. Matt Bryant comes on for the extra point.
What'd they give up to get him again? Right now, they figure it's well worth it, don't they? This is what they paid for in getting Julio Jones, because he can be so explosive in so many different ways. And boy, what a great debut in 2012 for the second-year player out of Alabama.
Talked about the job that Thomas Dimitroff is doing. Here's one indication right there. So Matt Bryant. Matt Bosher, the holder. Good snap, good hold. They split the sticks, and it's 7-0 Atlanta. So what an opening drive. Matt Ryan 5 for 5, 71 yards, and this touchdown strike to Julio Jones. How well did the Falcons execute during their last drive? Our Kia Motors drive recap. They were almost perfect. 7-yard touchdown strike to Jones. He had 3 catches on the drive. They converted 2 third downs. They averaged 10 yards a play on that first drive.
Keyed by the back-to-back explosive plays downfield throwing the football. First to Roddy White on the deep inside dig, and then coming right back with the skinny post to Julio Jones.
Bosher kicks off. This is Jacoby Jones deep. He's going to bring it out across the 10 to the 15 and tries to wiggle his way out to the 20, just short. And so it didn't take long. 10:26 to play in the first. 7-0 Falcons. Well, the Falcons scored on the opening possession, so we'll see if the Baltimore Ravens now can respond. Joe Flacco is the Ravens starting quarterback, as you know. Future of this franchise, 27 years old. He's won 44 games in his first 4 years, and this is a contract year. First down, Ravens. Throws the quick out. It's complete to Torrey Smith. Bud Light starting the lineups. The Ravens offensive line is big, averages 328 pounds, loaded with time-tested veterans. Matt Burkett center is a 15-year vet. He's the bell cow. The backs, Ray Rice is your feature back, and there's no huddle. They're out of the blocks, and there he is. Rice gets the carry, bangs off the left side. Stop made by Weatherspoon. Defensively for Atlanta, of course, Mike Nolan's defense, as Charles mentioned, expected to be very aggressive. John Abraham leads up front, 9.5 sacks last year. He'll be the bell cow up there. Middle linebacker Curtis Lofton is gone. As you know, Akeem Dent takes over. The Falcons upgraded their secondary. Charles talked about Sante, and here is Bolden, and Bolden does not have enough for the first down. So a hurry-up offense, very much like we saw from the Falcons on third down. No huddle. They moved it, tried to up-tempo it. Grimes made the tackle, and the Ravens come up short of the first.
Saw Mike Nolan show a little bit of a pressure package there, and then Brent Grimes in the open field made one of the most difficult tackles in football. Open field tackle, gets underneath the ball carrier and stops him there.
Sam Koch gets off a high tail wagger, and Franks will take this at the 33-yard line, and he'll fair catch there. So good field position in the second drive for the Atlanta Falcons. Early in the ball game, advantage Atlanta. Three-step drop. Ryan goes up top. Boy, he is perfect on the evening. Roddy White with the catch. And Matt Ryan now 6 for 6.
Tim, you heard it. So much talk in the offseason about Matt Ryan reshaping his body, putting on some weight, getting stronger. Maybe the arm was stronger. But for a quarterback, it's not just a strong arm. As you've noted, it's the touch. How many times have we seen him already in this game just drop it in the right spot? The touchdown pass to Julio Jones in the end zone. He comes right back and hits Roddy White with the fade route to the outside.
First down and 10. Turner right side gets a couple of tough yards. You know the thing, Charles, that amazes me, so many of the so-called critics still say that Matt Ryan is waiting for validation to become an elite quarterback. Are you serious?
Yeah, and it's funny how that works because the playoff game here a couple of years ago when Green Bay came to town, they were saying the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. And people had forgotten conveniently that Aaron Rodgers didn't even start his first 3 years in the league. So it will happen for Matt Ryan when the Falcons get into the playoffs and win. That's when I think people will start to begin to go away because his numbers suggest he's right up there with everyone else.
Meyer and White go to the top of the screen. Second down and 8, and the pressure is effective. McLean got there first, tipped the ball away from Matt Ryan, and that'll be the first incompletion of the game. So after a 21-yard strike to White, the defense made a nice stop. Atlanta's third down, 2 for 2 tonight. Averaging 10 yards a play. This will be third down and 8. Jacquizz Rodgers comes into the ball game. Ryan steps up, now rolls right. Throws underneath. Was he in bounds? Nope, no catch. Drew Davis was out of bounds, and it's an incompletion.
Love how Matt Ryan bought a little extra time getting out of the pocket, but look at his eyes. See how he focuses downfield, stays with the play, and has a chance here with Drew Davis. Tries to put it in the spot. Davis catches it and has the feet down. Do the Falcons want to go ahead with an early challenge on this play?
I think they're going to look at it. Here's another look.
I think they've got a shot at it. Just from that angle, you've got a shot. I'm not sure how close the first foot is, and there's the red flag challenging the call.
The completion or incomplete pass on the last play.
Halati Noda did a great job chasing Ryan out of the pocket. Still, Ryan threw a strike. Davis looked to be in bounds, and we'll see what the replay shows.
It appeared that when Matt Ryan got outside the pocket and got the pressure in his face, he became a baseball pitcher that drops down on you. Certain pitches in the count, right? Dropped down and came sidearm with it and stuck it. And Drew Davis knew exactly where he was on the field, fighting to keep both feet down and in bounds.
Well, the key's going to be the left foot. That right there is inconclusive.
I think that's really nice awareness from the quarterback and the receiver to understand where they were on the field. Ryan put in the only spot he could to give the receiver a chance, and Drew Davis knew where he was going to the sideline, hoping that maybe whatever size his foot is, it's about a half size smaller to make sure it's in the field of play.
Here's another look at it. And it's still hard to tell. And remember now, the call on the field is incomplete, out of bounds.
And right now, I'm not sure we have enough to overturn it. See, I don't think we have it, as you said, conclusive enough to say that the call on the field wouldn't stand.
So there's Mike Smith on the right, the Falcons head coach. In 2008 was his first year. He's had great success. 43-21 is his record. John Harbaugh has won a playoff game in each of his first 4 years in Baltimore.
First coach in the history of the NFL to do so, which is pretty impressive considering the NFL's first season, 1920.
These are two quality coaches.
Quality coaches, quality organizations. It just all up and down both organizations. You just feel the class seep out. And both of these coaches have the full respect of their football teams.
And both coaches ended last year with frustration.
Yeah, you know, obviously for Mike Smith, he hasn't won a playoff game, but for John Harbaugh, so close to being in the Super Bowl.
Dixon had the pass in the end zone, couldn't hold on, then Cundiff came on to hit a field goal and missed it. Here's the call.
Upon further review, the play is confirmed on the field that the player was out of bounds. His left foot was on the sideline. Arizona will be now charged a timeout It would be 4th down and 8 from the 43.
Now, Tim, if I'm not mistaken, the official is the same man who did the Arizona-New Orleans preseason game. So he still thinks Arizona's playing because of the red jerseys. He means Atlanta. But what they were saying there, and he said that it was confirmed, I think it's just upheld because it was,
right.
As you said, the word you used I think was right, inconclusive. And in any event, because of that, they got the call correct.
Referee tonight, Craig Ochoa. And because of the labor dispute, as you know, these are replacement officials. And they are under a great deal of scrutiny. Shannon Easton, female, first female to officiate an NFL game tonight. San Diego with the Broncos. Or the Packers, rather. This is a high end under over end punt. Jacoby Jones will fair catch it at the 8. So with 8:02 to play in the first quarter, things have now slowed down. Defenses have now gotten into the rhythm of the game, and we'll be right back. 8-yard line. Jacoby Jones now in the ball game. He's split wide. Flacco throws to Bolden. Bolden hit immediately. Good coverage by Asante Samuel. And I know you like him, Charles.
Love a ball hawk, especially in today's NFL where playing defense is so difficult with these highly tuned up offenses. The key in the NFL now is how many takeaways you're getting. How many yards you give up, not a big deal. It's takeaways and points given up, the prime statistics for a defense.
Falcons need 4 on 2nd down. Rice cuts back inside. There's not much there. Great coverage by the defense. Dante Robinson got there along with a whole host of Falcons.
We talked about the corners at the top of the show, and already we've had Brent Grimes with a nice open field tackle. We had Asante Samuel on the last play. How about Dante Robinson helping force this one? Grimes also there. The corners very active in run support, not just against the pass.
3rd down and 4, Ravens. Flacco underneath, and it's knocked away. Great coverage by Nicholas. Stephen Nicholas right in his hip pocket, knocked it away from Ed Dixon.
Really well done by Nicholas, running at the outside, the upfield shoulder, and then coming to the inside hip of Ed Dixon to knock the pass away. The Falcons defense playing well early.
Sam Cook's second punt of the night. This is a high spiraler taken by Franks. Dominique Franks looks for a wall, cuts up the middle. Look out! Franks to the 40, open field. Franks to the 20. Inside the 15 and finally knocked out of bounds by the punter, Sam Cook. Dominique Franks with a nice return.
And this is how Dominique Franks can secure a spot on the football team. Because right now the Falcons have some decisions to make about how many defensive backs, how many corners you keep on the team. I think they've got about 4 spots pretty well locked up, barring injury at the cornerback position. Dominique Franks will be in a battle with Darren Walls for the 5th spot, and this ability to return kicks could give him the edge in making the team.
Brady Ewing is still down on the field, but everybody's talking about Franks. It was a 46-yard punt and a 45-yard return. And Ewing is still down.
Sure hurts a punter's net average, doesn't it, Tim?
Oh, my.
Punt at 46, they bring it back 45 against you.
What a great return, though. He was looking for the wall, cut it back inside, and there was nobody there.
The special teams of the Atlanta Falcons, always among the tops in the NFL. Keith Armstrong does a great job with his troops. And there's Dominique Franks. 4 starts last year at the cornerback position. Not a ton of stats. Right now, as I said, he would probably be battling for the 5th cornerback spot. But when you can return kicks, that can help you make a football team ahead of a guy who maybe doesn't have that ability. And Darren Walls, who he will be battling, will have to show a few extra things after that return by Dominique Franks.
Franks, 6 feet, 197-pound, 3rd-year veteran out of Oklahoma, just 25 years old.
And you hate to see this. Brady Ewing, the rookie out of Wisconsin, who's battling for the starting fullback spot. Obi Mahaley was let go in the offseason. He signed with the St. Louis Rams. Obi Mahaley may be the best fullback in the NFL when healthy. A Pro Bowl guy, blows people up. Michael Turner loved him, trusted him in front. He's not there. So they ended up bringing in Mike Cox, who's done a nice job for them. But Brady Ewing, a jack of all trades at Wisconsin. He's not a big blow-him-up blocker, Tim, but very smart in the passing game, can protect the quarterback. Can it be a battle for the starting fullback spot? He's trying to make it so.
They like him too, Charles. He's turned some heads. He's only 23 years old. And while he's 5'11", he's 240 pounds.
And they say that he was a lot more physical in their scrimmage with the Tennessee Titans the other night on one of those Friday Night Lights scrimmages that they've been having. So we take a look here. Looking right there against number 56. Trying to block was Brady Ewing. It looked like the leg went out from underneath him a little bit as Franks made his cut.
Take a look at the NFL draft by the Falcons. Here are your top 3 picks. Didn't have a first-round pick. Cons was the guy they went after out of Wisconsin. And he's a big one. First down Atlanta. 6:42 to play in the first period. So far it's been all Falcons. Picked off by the Ravens. Ryan Badaije with the interception and returns it to the 48-yard line.
Tim, when you see that and you played the position, that looked to me like the linebacker locked in on the eyes of Matt Ryan and just flowed to the football and picked it off. I think Matt knew where he wanted to go with the ball on pre-snap recognition, on a slant pattern, not a lot of time to look people off. And Ian Badejo just went right to the passing lane and took it. To the left of your screen, 51 just flows right over there and takes away the slant and takes it the other way.
You see Matt Ryan never took his eyes off. Let him right there, you're right.
3-step drop, head goes right there. Ian Badejo just read it and went and took it.
So Flacco gets good field position. And he's trying to take advantage of it deep. Look out. That pass was intended for Jacoby Jones and overthrown. Boy, he had him too.
And that's one that Jim Caldwell, his new quarterback coach, the former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, will tell Joe Flacco in film, Joe, that was a layup, and we just missed it.
Just put some air under it.
Because you mentioned Jones is out there. He's beating the coverage. Just put it on him at that stage. If anything, underthrow it a little bit to make sure we complete the pass, but never overthrow a wide open receiver downfield. Maybe a little pumped up in the first game of the new season.
Ray Rice is back there with Flacco. And now we get a flag. This is going to be against Baltimore.
False start. Offense. Number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Torrey Smith out of the University of Maryland.
Well, I think he saw the last route by Jones, and Torrey Smith is known for what?
Speed and deep routes.
And he's thinking, hold on a second. That should be my route.
He's a stretch guy.
I'll go run that one. Throw it up to me.
5 touchdowns of more than 25 yards last year as a rookie. Second down and 15. And Ray Rice doesn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. Stephen Nicholas makes the tackle. And it'll bring up third down and 12.
And this is what teams want on defense. Get to what they call their nickel or their sub packages to get their rushers on the field and extra defensive backs. Third and long. This is when Mike Nolan has a chance to dial something up. Although how exotic he'll get in the season opener, preseason, I'm not too sure about that.
Well, they need 12. And Flacco goes down. First sack of the preseason. Robbie Williams actually just tripped him up.
Yeah,
Watch Robbie Williams, the guard.
And I think Croy Bierman, 71. You see Abraham, 55, flushed him first, and then Bierman was coming behind. But you're right, Tim. Bobby Williams really should get credit for the sack, although I think it'll go on Bierman's stats.
Bierman will get it, right.
And Mike Nolan, not worried about getting, John Abraham 15 sacks. He'd rather have a bunch of guys with low sack numbers in an aggregate, and Croy Bierman could be one of those guys.
Franks fair catches it at the 15-yard line. And so the Atlanta Falcons will get the ball back. 4:55 to play in the first quarter. First preseason game. Falcons and Ravens. And so far, it's all Atlanta. We didn't know how long we'd see the starters here, but they're all still in with 4:55 to play in the first. 7-0 Falcons. Let's go down to Hans.
Tim, Charles, real tough moment here. You just saw Brady Ewing, 5th-round pick out of Wisconsin, go down with a knee injury on that special teams play. Very emotional coming off the field. He got carted back. His fellow fullback, a teammate, Mike Cox, some of the other linemen came by. Just a really tough moment for this kid, and we wish him nothing but the best.
Well, you hate to see that, especially early in the first preseason game, but you never want to see it. Julio Jones makes another catch. First down out to the 30. Had Ladarius Webb beaten to the inside, and so Julio Jones having a terrific year, or a terrific game.
We always talk about defensive backs having to have a short-term memory from getting beat. How about quarterbacks who just threw interceptions? Matt Ryan throws one, very first play on the next offensive series, comes right back firing the football.
Great point. First down and 10 now for Ryan. How about the start by Jones? You know, he was injured last year, missed 3 and a half games. As Michael Turner carries it straight ahead for a couple of tough yards. But if you project to 72 receptions, 1,279 yards, 11 touchdowns, if he doesn't get hurt with the numbers he had, you project into that, that's a whale of a year.
And that validates why you move up in the draft to get him, because A.J. Green was gone off the board at that point from Georgia, gone to Cincinnati. So they were 2 big-time receivers tonight. 5 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. You project those kind of numbers, A.J. Green went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. You talk about the same thing with Julio Jones.
Having a career night. Ryan, 3-step drop, throws it over top, and he's looking for Jones. Good coverage that time. Ladarius Webb took the inside, took his hip pocket, and used Johnny's sideline to bracket him.
Great observation, too, because he took it right from the beginning, Tim. Just as you talked about, Julio Jones was never able to turn the corner and get over the top of him. You know, linemen always talk about running the hoop, running that short arc to get to the quarterback, how offensive linemen have to steer you past that short arc. Receivers want to do the same thing out wide, running that fade route and then getting up on top of the defensive back. Webb never gave him the opportunity. That was well defensed.
Antone Smith comes in to join Rodgers in the backfield. 3rd down, and the Falcons need 4. Ryan chased out of the pocket again, throws a strike and has it complete to Roddy. Roddy White makes another catch and another first down for Atlanta. It's a pickup of 13.
Listen, they're not going to put any zone reads or option runs for Matt Ryan that's not going into their offense. But he moves well enough in and outside of the pocket to buy time, extend plays, and find open receivers. And Roddy White knew his quarterback was in a scramble situation, knew how to break his route, come into the sight line, and make himself available for the catch.
Atlanta on first down, 10 plays tonight, 99 yards. They're averaging 9.9 yards a play on first. Impressive. Whistle and a flag as we go under 3 minutes to play.
Start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that's the first flag against Atlanta tonight.
Big Justin Blaylock, their strongest offensive lineman when you get him into the weight room and measure him that way. They're trying to figure it out on the offensive line, though. Will Sam Baker be the left tackle? The one that they drafted. Remember, they moved back to the first round a few years ago to get him. Will he live up to that promise? Who's going to play right guard? Who takes over there? Garrett Reynolds getting first cracks. But the rookie Peter Kahns, who you discussed earlier, Tim, will get a long look.
This is Rodgers. You know, the offensive line here in Atlanta was a problem last year. They brought in Pat Hill, the old head coach from Fresno State, and they're looking. There's a lot of competition. They've got about 12 guys playing for those 9 jobs on that roster.
And I think that bringing in Pat Hill was a terrific move. So we see Jacquizz Rodgers, last year's numbers. Expect those numbers to jump in a big way this year. They want to make him an integral part of the offense. Jason Snelling, normally the number 2 running back, is not playing tonight. But I think Jacquizz Rodgers is really moving ahead of him on the depth chart anyway. I think they want to make sure he's a playmaker and explosive. They've got to find ways for him to touch it more.
2nd down and 14 again to Jones. It's going to be pass interference. That pass is going to count.
But which way will it go? Will it go offense or defense? Ladarius Webb trying to say the push-off happened against him.
Webb and Jones were bumping and grinding all the way down. It's a pretty good battle.
Remember we talked before about he couldn't wrap around on the previous attempt? This time he does get around and get on top of Webb.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 21. Penalty is declined. First down.
Ladarius Webb, who had great position a few moments ago, this time gets caught with the extension in the bar bracket.
I mean, you talk about a big, strong, physical receiver in Julio Jones. I mean, you talk about 6'3", 6'4", 220, 225 pounds, running 4.3 40s. Look at that, 36-yard gain. He's over 100 yards now with 109 already on 6 catches this evening.
Here's your Ford drive zone now inside the 20, and here goes Rodgers. Look out to the 10. Jacquizz Rodgers stopped by Sergio Kendall.
And this was really well blocked to the left side at the point of attack by the offensive line and tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. Just look to the left of your screen. See Blaylock, 63, 72, up front, getting the job done. Well blocked by them. That was, Sam Baker, the left tackle, opening up a nice hole for Jacquizz Rodgers.
Second down and 1. Wouldn't be surprised if they take a shot. Instead, they go straight ahead. Rodgers again. Matt Ryan loves to go into the end zone on 2nd and short when he's down in the red zone.
What a season he had last year. Continued maturation of a young quarterback. Put it up more than he has. Attempted it. Look at the yards. That's a team record. It's Atlanta Falcons record. 4,177 yards, 29 touchdowns. Terrific season for Matt Ryan. Looking to eclipse those numbers this year.
First and goal Atlanta from the 9. Rodgers right side, inside the 5. Rodgers down to the 3. Stopped by Bernard Pollard, the safety. And he saved a touchdown.
And that's a win for the offensive line. You just mentioned Pat Hill, offensive line coach. Before Pat became the head coach of Fresno State, he made his bones as an offensive line coach here in the NFL.
Time out of the field. That's the quarter.
And so that's the end of the first quarter. Falcons scored on their opening drive. They've dominated play, and it's 7-0 Atlanta.
And talk about the catch numbers for Jones. I can't do the math, all right? But Barry Allen's up here giving us the great number. 18.2 per catch.
Second down and goal from the 2-yard line. Rodgers is still the back.
And he's a lot stronger runner inside than what people might think despite his size, Tim.
He's looking for Cox in front of him, follows him up inside. Touchdown in Atlanta. Jacquizz Rodgers.
Offensive line wanted to get some wins tonight. How about this? Point of attack. Creates the hole, follows the fullback, Cox into it. Jacquizz Rodgers, maybe 5'6" in stature, but runs like he's 6'3", 240 pounds on inside dives.
So Matt Bryan for the extra point. And it's 14-0 Atlanta. So a lot of the fans that are saying they won't be satisfied for anything less than a Super Bowl. This club looks like it's for real. We'll be back.
Atlanta Falcons preseason football is brought to you by Russell Athletic. Together we are. And by Ford. Go further. And by Piedmont Healthcare. It's time to get better.
So the Atlanta first team, offensive and defensively, have played well. 14-0 is our score. Falcons, as we start the second stanza, Matt Boschert preparing to kick off. Damian Barry is deep for the Ravens.
There's Pat Hill talking to his troops on the sidelines. Has to be happy about what he's seen so far. Had a chance to talk to Pat in pregame. Said, how's it going, Coach? How you liking it here in Atlanta? He said, well, we start finding out tonight. If my guys play well, I'll like it a whole lot better.
He's a character. They played well in that first quarter. Here comes Barry, brings it out across the 15, out to the 20. They'll mark it at the 23. Right now, let's go down to the sidelines where Hans Heiser has two guests from United Healthcare who will tell us about a very special community initiative. Hans?
Yeah, I sure do, Tim. I'm here with two great well-doers here in the city of Atlanta, alongside Kendall Moss of the Atlanta Falcons and also Donna Jennings from United Healthcare. And I'll start with you, Kendall. You guys are really building something special here in the community in Atlanta, you and the Atlanta Falcons.
Certainly. One of the things we wanted to talk about is our traditional Falcon food drive. That's usually a game gate day collection. It's now going to be a wonderful new easy online donation process, so our fans from October 15th to November 15th can help us support the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Now, I know you don't know how to do anything halfway. You guys are absolutely at the best of this. Well, why is it that you guys are just absolutely so good at providing for the community?
Well, I think one of the things is we have outstanding fans, and the schools that participate in our School Challenge have been phenomenal. But most importantly, it's been our wonderful partnership with United Healthcare that's helped us be successful.
Speaking of which, we have Donna Jennings here from United Healthcare. And Donna, you guys are looking to eradicate hunger here in Atlanta. Why is that so important to you guys?
United Healthcare helps people live healthier lives, and we believe that access to fresh, nutritious food is a key component in living a healthy life. The employees of United Healthcare, through our Do Good, Live Well initiative, we participate in many programs to eradicate hunger throughout the United States and dozens of cities. And we're very excited to be participating with the Falcons, and we encourage the schools to go online and enroll for the School Challenge, and this can be done starting September 10th through 14th at atlantafalcons.com.
There you go. Do Good, Live Well. Donna Jennings and Kendall Moss with the Atlanta Falcons. Tim, Charles, back up to you guys.
All right, Hans, thank you very much. Two completions by Joe Flacco and the sack by Akeem Dent. Now, everybody knows Curtis Lofton, the leading tackler of the last 3 years, the middle linebacker, signed with New Orleans. Akeem Dent trying to pick up the slack. He got the sack. So that was Baltimore's first down as Anthony Allen comes into the ball game and gets his first carry. I'm assuming now, Charles, we're going to see a lot of different players the rest of the way as they start to rest and take out and save the health of the starters.
Yeah, no doubt, but I think Baltimore was not pleased by their offense in the first quarter. Thus, we're seeing Flacco and a lot of their front liners. I noticed Ray Rice is out, so they'll be selective about who comes out. I think they want Joe Flacco to exit feeling a little bit better than they'd felt in the first quarter, if at all possible.
Second down and 11. This is Torrey Smith. Smith has the first down, still on his feet, almost took it to the house. He's down to the 40, and that's where he lost his balance and fell out of bounds. But he comes up limping, and they can't afford to get him hurt.
He is their major league home run threat downfield. This time, because of the threat of his speed, runs a shallow cross route and then almost turns the corner before he's tripped up by Shan Sillinger, number 39, knocking him out of bounds.
Gain of 25. Got a little hitch in his giddy up. Here's a little swing pass out to Leach, and Leach has a first down.
Remember the excellent punt return by Dominique Franks? He still needs to show it on the defensive side. That was open field one-on-one, and Vontae Leach runs through his attempted tackle and gains additional yardage.
Folks, Leach is a fullback who is 6 feet, 265 pounds. And he knows the difference between come here and sick 'em. Here's Flacco on play action. Gets chased out of the pocket and goes down at the 23-yard line. Still took a pretty good lick. Ray Jerry got there along with Robert James. Corey Peters has been sidelined with an injury, and Jerry's been getting a lot of playing time as well. A lot of these guys had nice years last year, but they're still playing for jobs.
It's like that every year in the NFL. No guarantees for very many people.
Straight ahead, Allen.
Welcome him back to Atlanta, the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, coming back to his home city.
Anthony Allen, 7th-round draft pick, 6'1", 223 pounds. Only had 3 carries last year for 8 yards, missed 9 games with a thigh injury. So, as you said, he's playing for a job.
You see Joe Flacco here checking off. This is an addition to his game. Talked to one of the Baltimore Ravens staff members in pregame, and they said this is where he's really going to jump this year with his total awareness of the field.
That's a strike inside the 10 to Jacoby Jones. Tackle made by Robert McLean, but Joe Flacco starting to heat up a little bit.
And he's the one who got him into this play. Changed it to the line of scrimmage, throws the strike. Nice route by Jones using his frame to put McLean, number 27, on his back and make the catch.
I was in Owings Mills yesterday to visit the Ravens and sat down with Ray Rice. He says, you won't believe Joe Flacco. He is a different guy this year. Here's Flacco, looks to the end zone, throws the out pattern. And Bolton lost a step, almost tripped, and was overthrown.
I really think Jim Caldwell, the new quarterbacks coach, is going to be a monster asset for Joe Flacco and his development. That's Jim Caldwell's specialty. And remember, he was the quarterbacks coach in Indianapolis when Peyton Manning won 3 of his MVP awards.
And nothing against Jim Zorn or anybody else that's coached Flacco, but you're right about Caldwell. Flacco this drive, 5 for 6, 68 yards. Throws over the middle to his tight end. It's complete. And it's a touchdown for Baltimore to Ed Dixon.
And you mentioned it, Tim. Now we've got a first line unit going against really a lot of second line defenders, or starting to scatter those guys in now. And on that drive, Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens, they'll now retire to the bench, I believe, the first line guys, and call it a night. But they'll retire feeling a lot better about their play than they did in the first quarter when the Falcons defense dominated them.
Dixon got position on Akeem Dent in the end zone. Quick hook, and the ball was waiting for him. Touchdown Baltimore. Billy Cundiff to add the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and good kick. And so the Ravens are on the board. It's the Falcons 14, the Ravens 7 with 10:49 to play in the second period.
Also trying to make this team with the Falcons now as a wide receiver. Their high school had never gone to the playoffs. With the Rogers brothers there, they're playing for state championships. He goes to Oregon State. They beat number 1 USC a couple of times while they're there. These guys are so dynamic. When you look at the numbers Jaquiz Rogers put up in the Pac-12, it's almost shocking considering how many great athletes have come through that conference. I think he's a playmaker and will have a big part in the Atlanta offense this year.
Here he is. Out to the 21-yard line before he's taken down rather rudely there. Tackle made by Dorian Graham. 10:43 to play in the half. 14-7, the Falcons leading with 10:43 to play in the second period. From the Georgia Dome, first preseason game of the year. And you look at Matt Ryan, he was 9 for 13, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Pretty good outing. I think he'd be satisfied. Now Chris Redmond comes into the game. He's 6'3", 229 pounds, out of Louisville. Long-time veteran, been around 13 years. First down and 10. Redmond has the ball, flipped up into the air and incomplete. Ball was batted up front by Tyson. And it looked like Cody had a hand on it as well.
Watch the middle of the line. The ball's tipped by big Terrence Cody, Mount Cody. Although there's a little bit less of him now, which is going to increase his stamina, allow him to stay on the field a little bit longer. But I'll be curious to see how long Chris Redmond goes at quarterback tonight for the Atlanta Falcons. They know what he can do. I would think that they're going to want to really get a look at John Parker Wilson and see how far they want to go with him and see if he's going to challenge Redmond for the number 2 spot this year.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Rodgers with the carry.
Take a look at the first 4 possessions of the game. Tim, you talked about it earlier, how Atlanta dominated the first quarter. 2 touchdowns out of the 4, 1 punt and the interception that Matt Ryan threw that was really in the deep in the zone of the Baltimore defense. Gave up 1 when they had another chance to put some points on the board.
3rd down and 5. Antone Smith now is in the backfield with Redmond. I'm guessing that's the end of the night for Ryan. It will probably be the end of the night for Flacco as well. Redmond has that one batted.
And I saw Julio Jones standing next to him. I think it's the end of the night for him. You know, Roddy White probably won't go much longer. A lot of guys coming out, but that ball batted on that play by number 95, Brian Hall. You mentioned that's two plays now trying to throw the football. Both of them batted back at Chris Redmond, and he takes a big hit for his efforts also. Excuse me, that was Hall 95 with the hit. The ball was tipped away.
But you know what? I understand the batted ball by Cody. He's 6'4", takes up a lot of space. He's a space eater, but Hall's only 6 feet. Bobby Rainey is deep for this punt. Good pressure by the Ravens.
Keep an eye on this young man receiving it. He's a guy that they have high hopes for as a return guy.
Gets by 1, gets by 2, and gets it out to the 32-yard line. Finally taken down by Kevin Cone. And another Falcon is hurt. Well, that's the one thing, Charles, about preseason games that you really disdain. Injuries. You want to get in, you want to get out, you want to do your thing and stay healthy. And this is Akeem Dent.
Projected to be their starting middle linebacker. But special teams so important. Remember, you don't have the same numbers in the pros that you do in college. So a lot more of your frontline guys will play special teams. And Akeem Dent last year led their special teams in tackles. Was a terror running downfield, had 19 special teams tackles.
And look at Mike Smith. He is really concerned, folks. We told you earlier, Curtis Lofton gone, leading tackler after 3 years, goes to New Orleans. Akeem Dent trying to shore up that middle linebacker spot, trying to win it.
And he absorbed a block there from Emmanuel Cook, a safety for the Baltimore Ravens.
This is huge.
It was a big block because the shoulder guy really got in and underneath Akeem Dent.
Now we're told he was knocked out. And if that's the case, I mean, they're going to be very, very careful, not only with his neck and his shoulder, as you mentioned, but concussions and the neurological side of this has become huge in all of sports.
And that's something for the better, the safety of the sport. These guys will want to play at all costs. Sometimes we have to protect them from themselves. Right there.
Helmet
right
to
in the
helmet.
Middle. You see the block.
Yeah, absolutely. He was knocked unconscious. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well with 9:38 to play in the first half. Akeem Dent leaves the game with 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. But he seems to be okay. Was knocked unconscious. They'll check him out. This is our first look at Tyrod Taylor, the young star out of Virginia Tech. And he runs all the way up to the 45-yard line. Tyrod Taylor, a 6th-round draft pick in the 2011 draft. Big arm, very, very mobile.
And I caution people all the time to not let his mobility obscure what you see in the rest of his game. Because Tyrod Taylor is one of those guys a little bit undersized from what you're wanting in a quarterback. He's not a tall, strapping lad like a Joe Flacco, but he's got enough gun. He can throw the football.
Picks up 18 yards there. I agree with it. Big, big arm. Good play here. And Allen's taken down immediately. Jerry got through and got the tackle for a loss.
And that's his game, Tim. Watch in the middle. Parade Jerry sliding through, slipping into the gap. Not a big, strong guy. What I'm talking about, he's not going to be one of those space eaters that just holds the point of attack and collapses down the line of scrimmage. He's going to be a move guy. Get upfield, get into the gaps, work into the backfield.
Taylor needs 12 on 2nd down. Allen, left side, across midfield, and into Falcons territory. And again, it's Jerry who makes the tackle.
I love guys that give you back-to-back plays. They don't just give you one flash play and then, okay, I'm going to take the next 3 or 4 off. Jerry makes the play upfield. On this one, he does hold the point of attack and then flowed to the football coming down the line of scrimmage. What defensive line like to call playing the piano, moving laterally down the line of scrimmage and made the tackle.
Jerry was a 1st-round pick in 2009, had a knee injury. Here's a pass over the middle. This is complete to Williams. Laquan Williams is short of the first down. I'll tell you this about Jerry, though. He is turning heads in camp. They like him a lot.
People have to remember he hurt his knee as a rookie, and it takes a little while to get your explosiveness back after that. This is the second year after the knee injury. Usually the best year for a player. You work through all the kinks the first year. The second year, you're usually good to go. And Jerry has been turning heads all of fall camp.
Dominique Franks is at the 10, and he'll let this one go. The Ravens trying to save it, and they do. I think he kept it out of there. There is no touchback signal. It'll be marked on the 4. Very nice play by Asa Jackson.
That was smart play by Asa Jackson, understanding where he was on the field and able to turn around and kind of guard the goal line. Was his foot in the end zone? Take a look at Jackson out of Cal Poly. Yeah. He's on the goal line.
And they're calling it too.
And they're going to bring it. That should bring it out to the 20 for the Falcons.
They've corrected the call.
But it was good football instincts by Jackson, though. But the punt returner never made a play on the ball. That means you can go to that point and set up, and you have the right to the football at that point. And Asa Jackson took the opportunity, just missed where he was on the field, his landmark, by just a little bit.
John Harbaugh not real happy. Thought his guy saved it, but he didn't see what we saw.
When he sees the film, he won't be so unhappy. But I think he'll like the effort of Asa Jackson, the rookie out of Cal Poly, who I last saw at the Senior Bowl and acquitted himself nicely in that game.
So Chris Redmond is still the quarterback for the Falcons, and Rodgers stays in as your tailback. And on first down, they give it to Rodgers. Spins off one, tiptoes through the line of scrimmage, and picks up a couple of yards. Got through a hole that wasn't there. Terrence Cody made the tackle.
And that's about as nice a 2-yard run as you're going to get, because that should have been about a 3-yard loss. Watch where the first contact is. See, coming down the line is number 37, Sean Considine. He should have had to play dead right at that point. Instead, Rodgers spins out of that and gets upfield. It may be 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, but it should have been 2nd and 13.
Rodgers can do a lot of that. He's very short. He's what I call a hide-and-seek runner. Hides behind those big offensive linemen, seeks a hole, and explodes. Here's Redmond with time, over the middle. Has the completion? No. Incomplete. Good coverage by Drew Davis, or it was intended for Drew Davis, but good coverage by the Ravens. And knocked away. I think it hit his shoulder pads, his chest plate. Let's take a look at this.
Little play action. Look at the eyes of Redmond. Gets plenty of time to deliver downfield. Would have been a terrific stretch catch.
Well, I don't know.
And I tell you, I don't know. It seems to me that Drew Davis may have come up with that catch, and that ball popped free after the play was dead.
Yeah, I thought as he got to the ground actually forced it up against his chest plate. But I thought by that time he had the catch.
I know the Calvin Johnson rule in effect, but boy, that seemed like a long time that he had the football.
So Chris Redmond now facing 3rd down and 7. Redmond checks out of the play, throws underneath to Cone. Cone is going to have enough for the first down, move the chain. Sean Considine gave him too much room. Well, there's fantasy football and there's legit fantasy football. NFL.com Fantasy offers a legit NFL managed league with free live scoring and instant video highlights. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy.
You mentioned people turning heads. Kevin Cone continues to impress, not just with his speed anymore. He's becoming more of a complete receiver and battling to become the 5th guy at the wide receiver spot for the Falcons.
Antone Smith picks up a couple of yards and then is tattooed at the 35.
And, you know, Kevin Cone comes from Georgia Tech. Tim, you've seen Georgia Tech over the years, especially with Paul Johnson. It's almost amazing to me to see the number of receivers that are coming into the league from Georgia Tech, considering how they run offense. I'm talking about big-time guys. Stephen Hill was a guy who was almost a first-rounder last year, went the 2nd round. Marius Thomas, Mayday, caught the 20-something balls his senior year. First-round pick and has an impact with the Broncos. And here's Kevin Cone fighting for a spot.
Over the middle, defended nicely by Corey Graham. Davis was there. Graham was with him. Graham's having a good camp for the Ravens. He's a former quarterback and a Pro Bowl special teamer.
I just have to laugh. Paul Johnson, the head coach of Georgia Tech, he gets negative recruited by people saying, well, you want to go there and run triple option and not learn how to play in the pro style? And he just laughs and says, well, I've had 2 receivers. One's a first rounder, one's a second rounder. I got another guy's going to be with the Falcons, and you're worried about what they're learning here?
You know what's interesting about that double slot formation that he runs, but it's off the spread principles. They do a lot of that.
So that argument really, guys, a quick guess for Paul Johnson in living rooms, doesn't it?
A lot of pressure from the corner, and Redmond could only throw it away. Just couldn't get enough on it. Asa Jackson came hard off the corner. And Jackson got to Redmond before he could get any push on the pass.
And Jackson forcing the play, and then on the backside got a little bit of help from number 50, Albert McClellan. Not able to get much on the football because he didn't have his legs to step into the throw.
So we'll get Matt Bosher to kick away again. This time he's got Bobby Rainey standing on the 10. Bosher's got a strong leg. This is a tail wagger, though. And Rainey's going to have to let that hit. And it gets a Falcon bounce and goes all the way down to the 17-yard line. So not a great punt, but it does get a good roll, 48 yards, no return. Falcons fans, season tickets are now available starting at $450. A few lower level seats still remain, but they are not expected to last through the weekend. With a home schedule packed with the Broncos, the Cowboys, Giants, and Saints, season tickets expected to sell out in a hurry. Want you to save up $300 off that single game price. It's a pretty good deal. Get playoff priority and a whole lot more. All you have to do is log on to www.atlantafalcons.com/tickets or call 855-222-3264. And this pass is thrown deep. It's complete, and there's a flag. Pass interference as Laquan Williams makes the catch and steps out of bounds. McLean was there, and McLean was bumping and grinding and catches a flag.
Beautiful catch by Laquan Williams.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 27. That's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
And so McLean gets the flag here, number 27, but it was before that right there.
So if they're calling it a spot foul, does that mean they didn't give him the catch?
Well, they gave him the catch. They moved the chains. It'll bring up 1st and 10. Tyrod Taylor was mixed up. And he still makes positive yards out of it, and there's a flag at the end of that play.
And that came from the secondary. Looked like the side judge on all the way in the back throwing the flag. Sometimes that happens when people get hung up blocking.
And it's going to be against the Ravens for holding. Check out Tyrod Taylor on this play.
Yeah, he thought the play was going to the left, and it should have been to the right. But as you mentioned, his speed gets him out of trouble.
On the offense, number 15. That will be a spot foul where the ball went out of bounds. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So the foul is on Laquan Williams. Yeah, he's the wide receiver. He was just trying to help out there in the open space.
Yeah, he was out there blocking on Dominique Franks. He was the guy who realized his quarterback was in trouble. Tried to help him out, grabbed a little cloth in the process.
You got to remember who's running behind you. That's a forward pass, incomplete. It was intended for Anthony Allen. It'll bring up 3rd down and 15. Or correction, 2nd down and 15 after the penalty.
See that look on John Harbaugh's face, head coach of the Ravens? That's one that suggests that offensive execution is not quite what he's wanted to see tonight.
Yeah,
I don't think really one good drive, and that was the last one with Flacco and crew.
Charles, you're right. He was not happy with the first team throughout the first period, and I don't think he's happy now with Tyrod Taylor's execution. He's going to tell Tyrod Taylor, you got to know the plays after you call them. Taylor shows that live arm and throws a strike for a first down. Dante Thompson came free on the sideline, and the ball was waiting for him. Now there, Charles, is what you're talking about, that big arm.
He's got plenty of arm, and he fit that in nicely. Right over the top of Frank's 24, and in front of number 36, Chris Hope, the longtime veteran that the Falcons picked up, hoping to shore up their safety position.
Gain of 22. Taylor rolls right, throws underneath to his tight end, and has another nice gainer.
And you notice the pro influence on that play for Tyrod Taylor, Tim? You saw him in college. With that much open space, he's pulling that bad boy down and taking it down to the secondary.
Absolutely.
But now, keeping the play alive, lets the receiver get open, delivers it to the receiver downfield.
But Gemma had a gain of 8, so it's 2nd down and 2. Left side, Allen, 1st down, move the chains. And Anthony Allen getting a nice workout. Stop made by Mike Peterson, the linebacker. Mike Peterson is another one of those guys that's going to have to step up. He's a 13-year veteran. But again, we're talking about that linebacker spot. And with Curtis Lofton gone, Lofi Tatupu, you know what happened there. Now it's Akeem Dent, Mike Peterson in the middle. And Tyrod Taylor is taken down all the way back at the 39-yard line. Great penetration by Robert James.
And that's a big part of his game. Look at his weight, 224 pounds. Comes inside on the X stunt. One linebacker one way, the other the other. And Robert James, who played some safety while at Arizona State, uses his speed to track down Tyrod Taylor. And the Mike Peterson signing, big for the Falcons, especially after what we saw happen to Akeem Dent just a little while ago in this game with injury.
Mike Nolan's going to be bringing them from everywhere. Great play on the corner. Intended for Laquan Williams, and Darren Walls made a great play. How about the break on the ball?
Because he's already taken off. You're seeing the end of the play, and then he does a really nice job coming up through the upfield arm of the receiver to take it away and trying to take away the chance for him to haul it in for a catch. Darren Walls competing with Dominique Franks at the cornerback position.
So what was a pretty good drive now brings up 3rd and 21. Taylor buys time, throws into the end zone, and it's caught, but it's out of bounds. It was intended for Laquan Williams. He made the catch, but McLean had already ridden him past the sideline.
And he wanted to try and give him a chance to make a play, didn't he, partner?
He did.
But as you noted, McLean, 27, had done a nice job of walling him off, so he could not get back to the inside of the field anyway. So he threw it up hoping that he could hold position in the corner. But a nice job of defense by McLean.
So Sam Cook to punt. He's going to try to squeeze this inside the 10. It'll hit at the 11. It'll be stopped right there inside the 10 at the 9. Well executed by the Ravens.
Was that Asa Jackson again?
It was.
That's a guy trying. Now that's a guy trying to make a football team.
Well, fans, stay tuned for halftime. You can catch up with your local news break. Hans Heiser will have a special guest on the sidelines as well. We'll have the Georgia Lottery halftime highlights, and we'll check off on the stats as well. So stay tuned for halftime on the Atlanta Falcons Network. It's all presented by Russell Athletic. John Parker Wilson comes in. You were calling for him, Charles. Here he is. We'll get a look at him, and he'll get some reps.
Yeah, I think he should get heavy work here in the preseason because they've got to decide and find out if he's ready to be that number 2 guy. Because the number 2 guy, obviously important everywhere, but really important for a team, as you've noted, that has big aspirations. What if Matt Ryan goes down in the midst of the playoff run? Last year, the Houston Texans went through that. Matt Schaub goes down late. Matt Leinart looks like he's ready to finally get his shot. Breaks his collarbone in the first quarter of the first game he starts. TJ Yates. Everybody, who? Where? North Carolina, 5th-round pick, 6th-round pick. Comes in, takes them not just to the playoffs, but wins a playoff game. And they really pressed the Baltimore Ravens in the second week of the playoffs.
Here's Rodgers again on 2nd down and 11. Rodgers doing a pretty good job tonight. They're making him the workhorse with Turner on the sidelines, and they do want to limit Turner's carries this year, save his legs a little bit. They want to get more vertical, but this guy right here, Rodgers, is going to get his carries.
Field for a 2-minute warning.
Here's your 2-minute warning in the first half. 14-7 Falcons. Father 7 weeks ago. His baby Steven, 8 pounds, 21 inches. 3rd down and 6. John Parker Wilson is in trouble and he will go down. John Parker Wilson out of Alabama. His dad played in the Boston Red Sox organization. Mom was a cheerleader at Bama.
And a lot of this, everybody looks at the offensive line, okay, but there was time to throw the football, which means what? Coverage must have been pretty good downfield. Receivers unable to uncover themselves and get open for John Parker Wilson, ultimately ends up with a sack.
Albert McLennan gets credit for the sack. He and Paul Kruger trying to take that position and fill in while Terrell Suggs recuperates from his Achilles surgery.
Trying to get the rookie Courtney Upshaw ready to go also. But on that play, you know, you look at it, you just saw the shot of Pat Hill, the offensive line coach. Everybody look at the line. You got to block for the quarterback. There was enough time to throw the football. No one available to throw it. Throw it to, I should say.
Got those happy feet.
He's looking downfield, and the timing would have, you know, if you put the watch on it, that was the right time to go back, set up, throw the football. If there's no one to throw it to, though, the pass rush increases in intensity.
Ravens should get pretty good field position here. Bosher standing in his own end zone. Rainey at the 42-yard line. This is a knuckleball. Rainey will take it at the 49. Look for a block and get into Falcon territory to the 46. Tackle made by Tuamane.
And that's a good tackle, Tim, because on that cut, if Tuamane doesn't get in there and make the play, I think Rainey might have had a little seam to run into. Really nice coverage by the Atlanta Falcons. Tuamane getting downfield.
Now we're going to see what Tyrod Taylor can do here with pretty good field position.
And let's see what Mike Nolan decides to do, what he wants to dial up here. Does he want to pressure him at all and try and get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker? What you're worried about with a mobile quarterback is if you pressure him and you miss, he gets downfield on you with his legs.
1st down and 10. He throws underneath. Quick slant over the middle. It's complete, a gain of 6. Logan Payne made the catch.
This is good work for the Atlanta defense here. Going against a hurry-up and 2-minute situation. Test your communication skills. Test your knowledge of the defense and getting lined up.
Tyrod Taylor throws it away.
Well defense there. Pressure on the quarterback's face, Tim. Coverage downfield was good. Looked like McKenna Regis coming in, the lad out of Miami. But I think the coverage was good downfield too, forcing Tyrod Taylor to get rid of the football. And here's where everyone makes this is where you make your mark, right? 3rd down. You earn the right to rush the passer if you're the defensive line and the linebackers. Here's your opportunity.
3rd down and 5 for Tyrod Taylor and the Ravens. Taylor, incomplete, should have been caught. Anthony Allen had it in his hands, had a little zip on it, but it was catchable.
And I think he felt the presence of Mike Peterson, number 53. Watch as he goes to catch the football. Look at his head. Oh,
no question, absolutely.
He felt the heat coming. And Mike Peterson, they signed him for a reason. He can play all 3 linebacker positions and provides great mentorship and leadership to a young linebacking core.
Good call, Charles Davis. You saw it. You felt it.
I felt it all the way up here, number 53 buzzing by.
Taylor going for it on 4th and 5, throws it over the middle. Got enough for the 1st. Timmy Streeter makes the catch. See where they mark it. Should be enough to move the chains.
See, that's the size of Timmy Streeter, allowing him to continue to fight with the defensive back and make the catch. Smaller receiver maybe goes down at the spot, but he fought with him, was able to get upfield just enough to pick up the 1st down.
Tommy Streeter is 6'5", 220 pounds, and he is that big target that Charles talks about. I think I said Timmy. It's Tommy Streeter. He's the rookie out of Miami. Oh. Does not have enough for the 1st.
Sure looked like he'd had enough on the initial look.
Too.
I thought he picked it up, but that's nice by the Atlanta Falcons. So you go back and you give credit to Dominique Franks, who was covering on that play.
How about
able
that,
to get
Mark?
Streeter down short of the first down.
Take another look. See if he gets to the 35 and beyond.
See, the marker to me was at the 36-yard line. I thought it was right around the 36, so it was close. And John Harbaugh, I think, wants to know what that was about himself. Mike Smith said, "I kind of like this. I kind of like the call.
Yeah,
I don't see what the issue is. Let's move on."
Here's another look.
Shallow cross. There's Streeter 11. Franks riding with him there. Streeter goes down.
He looks like he had enough for the first. You're right, it was at the 36.
36-yard line. Look to the top of your screen as they go down. You'll see the marker down by the foot of the official, that orange pylon-like marker on the ground. That was the aiming point. John Harbaugh still can't believe they don't have a first down.
John Harbaugh, 50 years old. And the two biggest things in his life, family and coaching. Quality guy. And one heck of a football coach. And how about the job his brother Jim did with the 49ers?
They went from 6-10 to 13-3. Without OTAs, minicamp, the whole deal.
This is another one of those situations. They're going to take a look at it to see where the mark is, but there's not enough, I don't believe, to change the mark. You and I both thought he had enough for the first, but I'm not sure that out of those replays it's conclusive.
And if they don't have enough for a first down, Dominique Franks gets credit for a first down preventing tackle, which looks good on his ledger sheet as he battles to make the team.
This is the first preseason game of the year, but don't think for a second it doesn't mean a lot to these head coaches.
Like both of these, let's just be frank about it. Both these teams are thinking January. They're thinking
Absolutely.
playoffs. Anything less than playoffs,
Without a doubt.
they don't even know how to fathom that. It's how can you win a game in the playoffs for the Falcons, and can you get through the last game if you're the Ravens and get to the Super Bowl? Although the Falcons have the same aspirations too. They believe if they win that first one, they've got enough of a football team to get there too, and they
both
do.
of these guys play it close to the vest. They don't talk much about that.
Don't need to.
But today's paper, you pick it up, and Mike is talking about, hey, we need to get there to the big game.
Kind of caught himself as he went along too, as he was saying it, right?
He
But
did.
of course we have to take it day by day, but here it is again. It all depends on the spot. Shoulder down. Really, I think the shoulder went down before the knees. So where's the spot? Where does it go down? And I think you might be right, Tim. It's going to be very difficult to overturn it if they called it short on the field. Remember, we had one of those calls earlier. There's the elbow going down.
After further review, the play stands as called. 1st and 10, Arizona. 1st and 10, Atlanta on the 36.
There's Atlanta again.
Now, that's the second time he's called them Arizona. And you see John Harbaugh, and the problem you have is it doesn't sound very authoritative. You know, when you come out and you kind of stumble around a little bit, and then you say, Arizona, no one goes away convinced that you had it. You know, well, the Falcons are like, okay, cool, we'll take it. You know, Baltimore, not at all.
And again, with the labor dispute, these are replacement officials. And the regular officials, I guarantee, are watching the game.
Oh, they just love that sequence.
Grist for the mill.
And here's another opportunity now. This is an opportunity for Atlanta. Remember, you were talking before about Tyrod Taylor. How about this for John Parker Wilson? They're the guys tonight bringing us the game and doing the best job they can, but just don't have the experience as of this time. Nice strike there.
That's 2 in a row by John Parker Wilson. This one complete to Marcus Jackson. And now John Parker Wilson has them on the move, and they stop the clock with 39 seconds to play in the half. Timeout, Atlanta.
This is how a quarterback grows up, isn't it? This is where you find out. You get in these 2-minute situations, 1-minute situation, give you an opportunity. You know, they go over these situations all the time, right, Tim? How many training camps and fall camps you've been to where they go, okay, guys, offense, defense. You got 2 timeouts, ball's on the 47, take them downfield. Here it is.
It's great, Charles, to see young John Parker Wilson doing well, too. You made the point that they're going to need him down the road. Chris Redmond's a 13-year veteran. Parker Wilson is your young guy, and he comes from an athletic family. I mentioned his dad was a baseball player, his mom the cheerleader, but while he was playing at Alabama, his brother was the starting quarterback at his high school, His two cousins were starting quarterbacks at another high school and a junior high. I mean, it is an athletic family.
Yeah, when they get together for Sunday dinner, they're all breaking down film and coverages.
Pass the stat sheet.
And you
I
know,
bet the potatoes.
And you know something? I'll bet Mom can break down the cover too.
Oh, I guarantee
just as
it.
well. She'll let them know. Why'd you throw it there? Did you see how they rotated over the top?
You got to throw it between the corner and the safety. First down and 10. He steps up into the pocket, looks for help, and now throws it away wisely.
Oh, that's a smart play right there. That's intelligent. Because he wanted to step up and fire the strike, but didn't have the guy available. And as you noted, Tim, got rid of it, doesn't take the sack there.
And there's a flag against the Ravens.
Holding. Defense. Number 47. Previous spot foul. 5 yards. Automatic first down.
That's Ricky Brown, who was called for the holding. And John Harbaugh right now not a fan of the replacement officials.
I think he wouldn't be a fan of any official calling these penalties against him right now. But that doesn't mean that they didn't happen. Yeah, that's the thing, too. Every call now that happens, everybody's going to say, oh, replacement did it. Well, they may be getting them right, but they're going to get ridden a lot harder by the guys on the sidelines until they prove their worth.
They were getting ridden before they were on the field tonight. Throws underneath.
Got to hurry.
It's complete, but it stops the clock. And again, Rodgers makes the catch. Brown makes the stop.
With timeout on the field. Atlanta. That's their third and final timeout.
And so Atlanta
This
stops
will
the
be a
clock
30-second timeout.
with 25 seconds left.
To end up using the timeout there, I'm not sure that they wanted to. That didn't feel right. You know, you only have one timeout left trying to get in the field goal range. Using it there when you had a second down, you go to the line of scrimmage, and everything else, you clock it.
Yeah, I don't think Mike
Snap it
Smith
and
was
clock
happy
it.
with the timeout either. And when he's taking his notes of what to go over, he just wrote down a note on that play.
Yeah, I think he wants to know who called the timeout. Well, you know, why was that called there? You run up to the line of scrimmage, clock it if nothing else, and get third down to try and pick up the first down and keep your drive alive. Now, anything in the middle of the field, it's a true hurry-up situation if you're trying to get points or kick a field goal.
You got Matt Bryant down here kicking into the net. Second down and 7, 25 seconds to play. Throw the out pattern. It's complete. They're gaining some yardage here, and Palmer steps out of bounds after he picks up the first.
Now, that was well done all the way around because watch John Parker Wilson in the pocket stand and deliver. He knew it was coming. He knew the heat was there. As number 26 sticking it to Emmanuel Cook, the safety, and he puts a strike on Michael Palmer, who's smart enough to pick up what he could and then get out of bounds and stop the clock. Intelligent football and brave football in the pocket from John Parker Wilson.
And he picks up 11 valuable yards, 18 seconds to play. Again, throws over the middle. He's got it.
Now they got to get up there. Here it comes.
12 seconds.
Plenty of time for him to get
Down
up
to
there
10
and clock
seconds.
it. You're in good shape.
Wilson stops the clock with 5 seconds.
And I think he kicked the field goal.
And that brings on Matt Bryant.
With 5, you said 5 seconds, right, Tim?
5 seconds.
That's not enough to run a play and hope, even a quick play and hope. That's just too much. You got to run your field goal kicker out now and try and make this the last play of the half and split the uprights and run into the locker room.
Bryant led the NFL in accuracy, hitting 93% of his field goals last year.
Love the drive, but I think we just saw where the timeout came into play, Tim. Because if they have the timeout, they stop the clock with 12 or 13, get one more shot at it throwing the ball.
This is 31 yards. Bryant was 9 for 9 from this distance last year. Without a question, money in the bank as the first half comes to a close. Matt Bryant from 31 yards puts an exclamation point to the first half. So as we enter intermission, it's the Falcons 17, the Ravens 7. (17-7), the Falcons. And this is a team, as I mentioned, scored 173 points on opening drives over the last 4 years. No team in the National Football League has done that better. We're going to see a lot of different players now as we move into the second half, the third and fourth quarters, and these are the guys trying to make the football team. As you know, cutdown day this year is not until late. As a matter of fact, the first cuts will be made August 28th. They have to get down to 80 players, and then on September 2nd down to 53 players. So Dawson Zimmerman kicks off. The Ravens will have it first. They're trying to get good field position. This is Bobby Rainey, and Rainey takes it out across the 20 to the 23-yard line. So that's where the Ravens will start. Saw the numbers on Joe Flacco in the first half. He wasn't all that sharp early on. He got a little heated up as they went along. Tyrod Taylor will start the second half here. We saw him at the end of the first. And Taylor was the 6th-round draft pick in 2011, of course, out of Virginia Tech.
And they picked up Curtis Painter in the offseason, and Chester Stewart's a rookie out of Temple. I think it'll take a lot for Tyrod Taylor not to be the number 2 quarterback when the season begins for them. Taylor takes it around the corner and bangs his way out to the 26, 27-yard line is where it'll be marked. Tackle was made by Cliff Matthews. That's a defensive lineman that I know the Falcons coaching staff really likes a lot. Like his potential and what he brings to the table. And they brought in a rookie out of Troy, Jonathan Massaquoi, who also plays defensive end. I think they'll be in a battle trying to make this team. Taylor buys time and eventually just throws it away. Good pressure by Robert James. That's the second time we've seen Robert James's closing speed in this game become a factor. One time he trapped Tyrod Taylor for the sack. This time, that late closing speed forced Taylor to make an earlier decision than he wanted to about where to put the football. Mike Nolan's all about unpredictability, constant pressure from a lot of different areas, and he likes to dictate to the offense and make them adjust. 3rd down and 5. We'll see how they come here. Taylor with pressure again, steps up across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. They'll move the chains. Dominique Franks eventually tripped him up. I think the Falcons staff, even though Taylor ran out of trouble, I think they're going to like what you were talking about, Tim, that there is pressure constantly on Tyrod Taylor throwing the football. Either making him make a decision or flush out of the pocket and go. That's what they're looking for. You know, they'd rather have, I believe it was the statement from Mike Nolan, they'd rather have 10 guys with 4 sacks apiece, constant pressure, rotating guys in and out, than maybe 2 or 3 guys with 10 sacks apiece. So that you can game plan for those guys. You want to be able to have a number of guys who can get after the quarterback. Bobby Rainey picked up 5. Now they go with a little screen pass. Tried to get the other half. Rainey out to the 45. That should be enough to move the chains. Just underway in the second half. The Atlanta Falcons leading the Baltimore Ravens 17-7. Charles, you'd have to say a lot of the off-season acquisitions that they made in Atlanta are paying off early. They've been impressive. I think so, and I think they will continue to do so. And part of preseason, that's a challenge for coaches, is force-feeding young players into the game. Getting them into situations that are going to be maybe a little bit tougher than throwing them in at the end of games where they might not be overmatched or playing guys more of their skill. See if they can rise to the challenge. And I think the Falcons coaching staff trying to do that with a lot of these young players who are showing so well. Deontay Thompson was the target on that play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Little sweep to Rainey. Cuts inside, back across midfield, inside the 45, all the way down to the 43-yard line, a first down for the Ravens. Tellinger tripped him up, but it's a good drive for Baltimore. I know you've been to their camp, Tim, and I got a little tip in pregame that hey, you better keep an eye on 34. He's been impressive in camp, and he's a guy that's going to have an impact. And they think, well, you know, people I talk to in pregame think he's got a real good chance to make their team. Bobby Rainey is a 5'8", 212-pound rookie. Charles is right, out of Western Kentucky, free agent in 2012. He had 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns last year at Western Kentucky. And I don't believe he was even invited to the NFL Combine. No, he wasn't. Came out as a free agent. Now the Falcons are just looking for their defense to tighten up here a little bit. This has become kind of open field, broken field football. You know what I mean? What Tyrod Taylor and these guys are doing for Baltimore right now, put a little bit of stress on the defense because nothing feels traditional. He goes back, he darts here, he darts there, he gets upfield. Can the Falcons kind of get their legs under him a little bit and start dictating again, as you noted that Mike Nolan wants to do?
Taylor was throwing to Dorian Graham, and he had some words with him when he came back to the huddle. He thinks Graham went inside, and he was supposed to go outside. Here's Taylor again on 2nd down and 10, and almost picked off. Oh, my. Mitchell was there and had his hands on it.
And he's a guy that they're excited about in the secondary. Out of Mississippi State, this is an opportunity. And it's funny because in the offseason, I spent time talking with a few different coaches about trends and what they see in the game. You know what one of the trends is? All defensive players doing ball drills now. Defensive linemen, everyone, because possession is so precious now in the game when offenses are so tuned up that they want to take every possibility and every chance to take the ball away from them. And that was an opportunity missed by Mitchell.
Charles had his hands on it. He'd love to have it back.
Oh, boy, would he ever.
Taylor with another strike. Thompson moves it all the way down. Close to a 1st down. It'll be 4th down and 1. And we'll see what the Ravens want to do here.
I think they're going to line up and kick it.
This is Justin Tucker who will attempt this field goal, not Billy Cundiff, the veteran. So a great opportunity here for Justin Tucker. And he takes advantage of the chance. He hits the field goal from 36 yards, and the Ravens draw closer within a touchdown with 11:30 to play in the 3rd period. And what a pleasure it is. We've been talking about all the changes and the personnel that they brought in. We're joined by the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons, Thomas Dimitroff. What a great job bringing in personnel, making the changes, coaching changes, players changes. It seems to be paying off early.
We've had a lot of changes this year. It's been a busy season, busy off season for sure. With the coaching changes was a big deal. Not to mention all of our changes in personnel.
Rodgers with the return. Well, first let's talk about the changes in the coaching staff, because that seems to be the attention getter and the headline getter. But, I mean, pretty good ones. I mean, you bring in Dirk Cutter and you bring in Mike Nolan, and nothing, all due respect to those that were here, but that's an upgrade. Two great coaches.
Our 2 coordinators here before did a heck of a job
Absolutely.
for us to help us win a lot of games. These new guys that have come in, they've done a really nice job fitting in well with the respective sides of the ball. They brought their systems to the table. They've also worked collaboratively with the rest of the coaching staff, which is great. The players are really responding well to each of these coordinators. I mean, the way that Mike Nolan approaches the defense and Dirk Cutter approaches the offense, they fit this team and this energy level, and I'm excited to see what we have in the future.
I read a story, and it's been well documented. You tell me if it's true, but the way Dirk brought in Matt, and he talked about the plays he liked, the plays he didn't like, the plays that worked. They broke them down statistically and kind of meshed both of their ideas of what the offense should be. Now, is that accurate?
Yes. It's been interesting to see the 2 of them work together well, and Matt and Dirk have developed a great relationship, which is imperative for a coordinator and a quarterback. Dirk has quarterback in his background as well, and Matt relates very well to him.
Absolutely. 1st down and 10. John Parker Wilson, and we'll talk about him as well. Entering his 4th year out of Alabama. And to see John Parker Wilson doing what he did there in the first opportunity here in the preseason. Pleased?
I am. I mean, this is a big year for John Parker. I mean, he comes in, he's got one of his favorite guys out there on the at number 11, running some routes. So, listen, it's been good to see. John Parker is an aggressive guy who's worked very, very hard in the offseason. Big season for him. Great competition between him and Chris Redmond.
It's interesting because last year when you made the big move for number 11, for Julio Jones, everybody was talking about it, and the word explosiveness, I think you probably woke up in the middle of the night and said, if I never hear that word again. But I think what people were missing is it wasn't just Julio Jones and what he brought, but what he could do to allow others to also make explosive plays. Would I be on track with that, about what he does?
Oh, sure. We talked a lot about maybe the overuse of explosiveness. That said, it is what it is, to use that cliche, and we needed the explosive big playability. We feel we have a lot of pieces on the field on the offense to do that. He lets people rise to the occasion and do very good things on the field. The way that he responds well, the way that his teammates respond to him, they get very excited when they watch Julio. So it's interesting how things will fall into place.
We sang his praises, and Wilson comes up short on 2 passes to Jackson, so they'll have to punt it away. When we talk to the coaches and the players, and we read about what's taking place, and there's been a lot of talk about Turner having limited carries, right around 300 or so this year to save the legs. Is that accurate?
That's where we're gauging, moving forward into this season, in the regular season. He's a guy who's put a lot of wear on his body. He's taken a lot of hits, but he's such a rugged guy. We need him fresh down the stretch.
No question. And I understand too, Dirk likes to put some screen passes in there and go a little bit more vertical, so we'll keep an eye on that. And that too would take away from Michael Turner.
And that's how you help yourself try and make a team on a play like that, right?
Oh, no question. We need these guys to step up on special teams. When you're at the back end of that roster, trying to make that roster, you better be shining on teams.
Drew Davis with the play. 10:33 to play in the third. 17-10. Falcons full athletic. And the Falcons have played well tonight, leading by 7. 10:28 to play in the third period. Curtis Painter now at quarterback for the Ravens. Bobby Rainey, the ball carrier there.
Defensively, Thomas, as you look at this team with everything Mike Nolan's going to bring, but trying to constitute the guys that he's going to be coaching when the season goes on. Defensive line, were the major battles.
In our major battles right now, we have 6 defensive ends right now battling, and you can normally you only keep 5, so it'll be interesting down the stretch who actually wins out. But we have a lot of hard-charging guys who, again, Mike Nolan has said publicly he'd rather have 10 with 4 sacks than 4 with 10, and I think he's going to get that out of this defensive line.
And real quick on that, if I might follow up, Tim. The reason he would want that as opposed to those guys, because we always hear about the guys. I mean, those guys want to get as many sacks as possible so they can come and talk to you about a new contract.
That's right.
But that would to me suggests a number of guys that you can't just game plan for 1 or 2.
That's big. Get creative, stunt, do a lot of special things with a lot of different guys, and people won't be able to hone in on that one player like we have in the past with John Abraham. So that's important for us.
Pass interference on McLean brings up first down and 10. For the Ravens, and again, Painter is your quarterback. Thomas, let me ask you this: with Lofton gone, the battle in the middle, Hakeem Dent seems to be the guy. Got knocked out there in the first half, but it's. Are you satisfied with what's taking place in the middle?
I am. This linebacker group is really coming together. I mean, Sean Weatherspoon the other day, we practiced against the Titans, and he was all over the field, and not to mention a very outspoken guy. So. He is a fired-up, charged-up guy, and I think he's bringing the linebackers together. Hakeem Dent, though young, is really buying in and doing a nice job understanding the scheme, and I think he's going to do a nice job this year.
He was playing well. We hope he's okay. I'm sure Charles and I were talking about with the look now and close attention to the concussions and the neurological side of the game now, so I'm sure he'll get checked out very, very well.
I think a guy that's shown well for you so far in the game, at least a couple of good flash plays, has been Robert James. Linebacker trying to make the team. I think his closing speed on the sack of Tyrod Taylor, and then he affected another play with closing speed where Taylor thought he had time to throw, and all of a sudden 51's in his chest.
Tim, we may be thinking about bringing him over to the scouting side because that's exactly what I saw.
I'm not letting him go.
I understand that. He's on the top of his game. But I tell you what, Robert's worked really, really hard in the offseason. He has an element of hustle and urgent athleticism we talk about, and he has playmaking ability. Hopefully he really comes into his own in this scheme.
This is a little bit out of your bailiwick, and I don't want to get you involved in something you don't want to get involved with. But with the labor dispute and the officials and all the critiques, and what's your feeling there? Is it going to get done?
Well, I'm hoping it is. We have Richard McKay down the hallway here a little ways that could probably comment a little bit more on it. But, in the end, we want to concentrate on the football here. We're hoping that these groups come along and do a nice job during the preseason, and we'll just go from there.
All right, let's go back to football. Asante Samuel.
3rd down and 4. Go ahead.
Right, as the ball goes incomplete. Sorry about that, Tim.
No, it's good.
But Asante Samuel, ball hawk, playmaker. The way this game is played now, It's almost like yards aren't what we used to. Remember, we used to look at, God, hold them under 300 yards. Now it's how many points did we give up and how many times can we take it away from people? He brings that ability, and what else does he bring?
I mean, he brings swagger. There's no question about it.
We hear that word all the time, but he truly lives it.
We hear it too much. He believes he can go against anyone in this league and take them down as far as receivers go. And he's brought an element of confidence and fun to this secondary and this defense. It's funny. The very first play he came in and intercepted a ball in practice, he not only ran across the field he was on, he ran across half of the other practice field. And I looked across the field to Smitty right away to make sure that Smitty wasn't upset, and he seemed fine with it. And I thought, okay, good. We're on our way to having a nice relationship with this guy.
Cook pins the Ravens deep, or rather the Falcons deep. And with 8:30 to play in the third, we'll be back. Falcon Food Drive School Challenge, presented by Publix and United Healthcare, gives schools around the state of Georgia the opportunity to help fight domestic hunger by collecting canned and non-perishable food between October 1st and October 29th. We hope you'll get involved. Registration begins September 10th. All you have to do is log on to AtlantaFalcons.com to find out more about the school challenge. Ball was bobbled. Ravens say they have it, and the officials agree. So a turnover by the Falcons here, right out of the timeout, and with 8:22 to play in the third, the Ravens have a great opportunity. The handoff
seemed about a half a step away from the actual mesh point when he came off of the fake and wasn't quite there. I don't know if that was the back, the quarterback, but the relationship and the spacing just wasn't right.
Dimitri Nance never had a chance. Parker never got to him.
Down the road, you get to see guys tested now. Sudden change now for your defense. How do they go out here and handle it with Baltimore in scoring territory?
Yeah, we have to see the resiliency. Believe me, we'll find out whose fault that was.
That won't take long.
Painter throws to the corner, the timing pattern, and it's overthrown. It was intended for Streeter.
Dirk already knows.
No,
It's already been noted.
Believe me, I'm chomping at the bit to know.
You'll find out in not too distant future. But you got all these secondary battles. We talked about Asante Samuel. I think with Brent Grimes, Dante Robinson, all three made plays in the first half in a short span where all three were like, okay, you made a play, I'll make a play, I'll make a play. But the depth going there, we just saw McClain there in coverage. What do you think with your cornerbacks?
Well, we have Dominic Franks. We have Darren Walls. We have some young guys in there that are still feeling their way around. They have some athleticism and speed to them. So it'll be fun to watch that group.
Second down and 10, and Barry off the right side inside the 5. It'll bring up third down, and they still need 4.
Last year at the safety position, you had James Sanders in here, a veteran who knew how to play the game, understood what you and Smitty were looking for. This year you bring in Chris Hope, another safety with that opportunity. We saw Charles Mitchell with a chance to make a big play not too long ago with a possible interception. You got some depth there also that you're building behind Thomas Deku and William Moore.
We like Charles Mitchell so far as a young guy, but we did bring in Chris Hope to be that veteran presence.
Painter with the waggle. Rolls to the right, throws back, and it's a touchdown for the Ravens. That play made by Curtis Painter.
Was that Curtis Painter rolling out of the pocket? And was not Tyrod Taylor. Curtis Painter, the big guy, getting outside and throwing it back inside for the touchdown.
Threw across his body to Billy Bajema.
All the flow coming towards us as you're watching the screen out there by himself. And Painter able to throw it back inside for the touchdown to Bajema, the tight end.
17-16, and the extra point ties the game. So the turnover proves to be very costly for the Falcons. 7:34 to play in the third. Everybody knows by now the Falcons have reached the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, and fans, the Falcons want you to get involved. Single game tickets and 2-packs are now available. Guarantee your seat and get great savings from the home opening against the Broncos by buying the 2-pack. Choose one of the 2 new packages and take advantage of this tremendous value. To view the packs and the seating available, all you have to do is visit www.atlantafalcons.com/tickets or call 855-222-3267. James Rodgers with the return out to the 17-yard line.
So there won't be any attention on that season opener at all. The Broncos, no one's going to really around the league going to care much about that one. Only Peyton Manning coming to town. Thomas, with this ball club and this organization, I feel like since you guys have been here, you, Mike Smith, obviously, the rest of the group you put together, you've been checking off marks and things that had to be accomplished. Getting to the playoffs your first year. Second year, Matt had the injury. You lost a couple of games with him. But you still had back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in franchise history. You still accomplished something. Then you come back, playoffs, back-to-back seasons now, something that had never been done by the Falcons. You've had a lot of things that have never been done. The elusive thing, winning in the playoffs and beyond.
We've definitely checked off a number of aspects and approaches that we were really focused in on. That said, we're a very competitive group. We have an owner. It starts with the owner. Our expectations are high. There's no escaping that. There was some disappointment after last season, no question. We feel like we've won a lot of games in the regular season. We need to break through the proverbial door and win in the playoffs. It's imperative for myself as a general manager, Mike Smith as a head coach, our quarterback. There's no question about it. And listen, it's not something that we take lightly. This team that we're trying to put together here is a very competitive football team. We say time and again, you don't need thugs. I hear this all the time. We feel we have a great locker room. We have a great group of competitive guys, and we feel that we are going to achieve our goals.
If there's anything that you want to upgrade, what would that be right now?
Well, right now, if we're talking about upgrade, we need to upgrade the consistency and the finish that we haven't necessarily had over the years, and that's something that's very important for us to win in the second season.
A lot of talk about your offensive line, a little inconsistency there last year. I know that was a concern coming into this preseason. How does that set up? How are they doing?
They're doing really well. Mike's made it very clear. Smitty's talked to the players. He's talked to the media about it. We're gonna find the best five there. It doesn't matter where the draft picks are going, where the money's invested. We need to protect Matt Ryan so he can get the ball down the field. It showed in the first quarter there that I was impressed with that. But obviously that needs to be a whole game.
Pat Hill there now with the offensive line.
And I think he brings a real dynamic to this organization about getting things done, attention to detail. And I think he's the type of guy that guys like to play for. Not that they didn't want to play for the guy before. That's not what I'm saying. But Pat, with the way he gets in and coaches and that enthusiasm that he has, but at the same time holding them accountable for what they're supposed to do, I think that's what it is. And we talked about it earlier in the first half, Thomas. He made his bones as an offensive line coach before he became a head coach in college.
That's right.
He's really back to the future.
He has a great passion for that position. I know that he's excited about being back on the field coaching position that he's so passionate about. He's very big into hand use and technique, and I think that's worked out well in the practices so far with our young offensive linemen, and they're buying into his approach.
Curtis Painter still the quarterback for the Ravens. First down and 10. Ball just inside the 35. This is Bobby Rainey. Great balance and tiptoes his way out to the 38.
As you go through everything now with the new CBA, Thomas, and things are still having to sort out because last year you didn't have the offseason and all of that. We don't have two-a-days anymore. How you have to practice and what you're doing. How's that been sorting out for the Falcons so far as you try and go through the new way of doing things?
I've seen a marked increase in focus and mental acuity in this team, having the off season the way it was versus last year when we didn't have it. That said, there are some definite challenges with the new rules. Some of the challenges, not for the scope of this conversation, but they're very fine-tuned and intricate, and they at times become a little bit difficult to follow. And it's just a matter of time before we become comfortable with it, and or before there may be some amendments. And that's again not something for me to talk about. It's something for the NFLPA and our people to talk about and figure out.
Back to Mike Nolan for a second. I see the 4-3 base stays the same, but he has some 3-4 principles and has pressure coming from multiple directions.
Well, that's his approach. He comes in and he's willing to talk about 3-4, 4-3. He's willing to
He's coached both.
Yes, line someone up on as a defensive end and then drop him back. We have certain players there that can be very helpful to us in a scheme with their versatility. He utilizes versatility, which I like, and he's gonna put our guys in the place to make plays, and that's important for a defense.
No longer having Eric Weems back here for punt returns, trying to sort that situation out, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's not an easy one to sort out. I mean, that's we don't want to get certain people injured. I mean, Harry Douglas is in consideration for that. Obviously, we saw a little bit earlier, Dominic Franks did a heck of a job returning a punt, but there's a lot that goes into that.
You didn't know we were going to put you to work tonight, did you? Thomas, thanks so much for your time.
I appreciate you, fellas. Thanks for having me.
What a great job. We'll be back. Play in the third. I want to thank the general manager, Thomas Dimitrov, for coming by and spending so much time with us and answering all the questions the fans have been asking about. Done a nice job, hasn't he, Charles?
Oh, he's done a job that, because we're so driven on Super Bowl or bust, national championship or bust if you're in college, those sort of things. Like last year, LSU. They played the worst game of the year. Alabama beats them in the national title game. It's like it almost washed away 13 wins during the year. They were 13-0. And that's crazy, right?
That
but
is
everybody's
crazy.
about, hey, what happened in that game? Well, for the Falcons, it's been 4 years of the best football that the Falcons have had as an organization in terms of consistency. And because they haven't won a playoff game, people don't want to give, maybe at times, the credit that they should be giving to what they've done with this franchise. And as Thomas Dimitrov said, starts with the owner, Arthur Blank, works its way down, and this is an entire organization committed to trying to get those, not just a playoff win, but bring a Super Bowl here. And if you don't get it done, it doesn't mean that there's a systems failure in what they've done as an organization.
The general manager smiles on that one. John Parker Wilson on 3rd and 6 throws a strike to Kevin Cohn for a pickup of 17 yards. So 1st down and 10. And John Parker Wilson starting to show some things, although he underthrows Cohn there. The other thing is these two teams, these two organizations, these two franchises mirror each other in a lot of different ways. Two coaches that Mike Smith and John Harbaugh that have been very, very successful early in their careers here on the pro level with these organizations. Two quarterbacks, Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco, very similar. You've got running backs that are very similar. I mean, it's interesting to see the mirror images in a lot of their instances.
And think about how both of them draft. Every year when you see their drafts, they're very productive. They draft guys that will make the team and contribute. They don't have a lot of quote-unquote misses in the drafts. Very few of those for both of these sides. I mean, just the whole organization, and Thomas Dimitrov, when he was here, talked about it. We can have high-character guys and win a lot of football games. Everybody keeps talking about, well, you need a couple of, I don't know what you call it, sketchy guys or what have you, maybe a couple of rogue guys in the locker room. He doesn't feel that way, and the Falcons mirror that, and as do the Baltimore Ravens. Good locker rooms for both, and off they go.
Here's a test for John Parker Wilson. 3rd down, they need 6. Wilson 7 of 11, 66 yards. Throws the quick out pattern, will be enough. He reaches for the first, depends on the mark.
I think he's going to be short. Leg went out.
Drew Davis tried to reach for that 1st down marker, but he is short. And so they'll have to punt it away.
And this is a situation, Mike Smith is known as you hate to use the term gambler, but he doesn't mind going for it on 4th down, especially with this type of field position. Regular season, if the team's playing well, he might consider going for it here, that sort of a deal. But in the preseason, you want to get a look at your special teams too. Get a look at guys who are trying to make the team. Backup punter's going to punt it here. You've got a big battle at long snapper. Who's going to win that job? And they're alternating snaps, so the decision to kick it away.
Bobby Rainey back to the 20. So a nice play by Omar Brown, the safety for the Ravens. Prevented the 1st down, and now the Ravens get it back. 2:19 to play in the third. I want you to visit the official FalconsGear.com during this game to receive free ground shipping on all orders. Wear the official gear of the Atlanta Falcons with new products from Nike and the whole new era. That's officialfalconsgear.com. Go tonight. Save some money. Get the gear. Look good. And get ready for the season.
Tim, you gotta get some of that. You look good in red and black.
I'm ready. Where's Jim Smith? I need some.
You'll rise up.
It's time to rise up. Curtis Painter is still your quarterback. He's the 4-year veteran out of Purdue. He looks deep, throws deep, has a receiver and knocked away at the last second by Robert McLean. Another outstanding play, but there is a flag.
And that ball held up a little bit, Tim. And sometimes when that happens, it's hard for the D-back to gauge his speed closing and arrive at the contact point.
Pulled the jersey just a bit and wrapped the right arm.
That's what he's called for,
That's
just what you described.
On the defense, number 27. That's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
See, the rest of it's fine, but once he grabbed the cloth, that's when he got nailed. You see the jersey get tugged. Rest of it, coming across the top, looked good.
And they call this play dead. Boy, Ed Dixon, it looked like he had a step, and then all of a sudden the nice defensive play, and then we saw the jersey.
The first down chains were not set prior to the snap, so we shut the play down prior to the snap itself. It's still first down.
That won't make John Harbaugh happy.
No, but it's preseason for everyone. Chain gang's got to make sure they get their legs under them.
John Harbaugh says, what happened? They're going to say, hey, the chains weren't set. He said, that's your fault.
Chain gang says, hey, I was there. Where were you? Come on.
Let's get a little hustle. Play action, the waggle, looking down the middle. He's open and out of bounds. Ed Dixon was open. There's another flag. Ball was just overthrown by Painter.
Neutral zone infraction on the defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Deontay Thompson had come clean in the end zone. The ball was just overthrown by Painter.
And it still turned out to be a free play for the Ravens with the offside penalty there against Cliff Matthews. And that's one I think Painter would have loved to have had back. He was so wide open. He just took him over the back line with the deep throw.
First down and 5, down to the markers. It'll be close. Damian Berry, the ball carrier. I know Cam Cameron, the 5th season offensive coordinator for the Ravens, doesn't want me to say Ed Dixon's still in the ball game. Obviously, it was Deontay Thompson.
Ed Dixon would have said, when did I go back in?
Exactly.
And why? Aren't I a veteran?
He's already cooled down. The shoulder pads are off.
Cut the tape off. Coach, really?
Second down, they need 3. And this will be close to the marker. I think he got it. Damian Berry. 5'10", 223-pounder out of Miami.
Yep, first down. Those are the good hard runs inside that get the attention of the coaches.
Massaquoi with a tackle. Final minute of the 3rd period in a tie football game in the preseason. Tim Brandt and Charles Davis with you. Getting a look at all the young players. Deontay Thompson for the touchdown. And Curtis Painter threw a strike.
I believe that Suwasi Tuamane could have had a play. Watch in the middle. 41 in red. Look at the angle. He's too shallow. If he's not shallow, he has a chance to make a play at the football. As he rotates over, he's too shallow, ball goes over his head. He's got to be back there where the receiver is. That'll be duly noted come film time. Nice throw by Painter, but that should have been a jump ball situation between Tuamane and the receiver.
Justin Tucker adds the extra point. Take another look and listen. So the Ravens score, and 25 seconds left in the third period. They take the lead. First lead of the night for Baltimore. 24-17 is our score. Really couldn't hear much on that play.
I think maybe because our guy took a little collision down there. Did you see him waving to us? Might have knocked the sound right out of the play we were trying to bring him.
Atlanta 53 penalty yards.
Hey, you okay? You okay, my man?
There you go.
There you go. Look at that. That is what's commonly known as a gamer.
Yeah,
okay?
No question.
Look, he didn't even taking treatment. All right, you don't see trainers over there. All right, he's not getting taped up. Didn't even have to take his helmet from him. He's just going to go.
No frown, no scowl, just a big smile. Said, "We're all thumbs up." So penalties and a little bit of undisciplined defense there helps the Ravens immensely on that drive. And again, cut down dates as we watch a lot of the young players here in the third and fourth period. August 28th, teams have to be down to 80 players. September 2nd, down to 53. James Rodgers out across the 20 to the 24-yard line. James Rodgers with a nice return.
And he's Jaquiz's older brother, but came out of school a year after. He had a big-time knee injury and missed a lot of time. And Jaquiz came out prior to him getting to the league. And here's James trying to make the team alongside his brother.
Charles, how's he doing since that knee was repaired?
It's been very difficult for him because it was a big injury, Tim. I'm telling you, ACL, I think he got a little bit of everything blown up in there and trying to come back. He only played about half of his senior season at Oregon State. Still quick, still elusive, but I don't think he is as quick and as elusive as he once was. He was a marvel his first few years at Oregon State.
Picked off by the Ravens. So Dominique Davis, the first-year player out of East Carolina, comes into the ball game and on his first play has the ball tipped and picked. Well, Mark Brown with the interception.
Let's take a look and see where this ball is because this will go down on Dominique Davis's ledger. It's a little bit high, but I think it's one that Chris Selfo, the tight ends coach, is going to tell Lamarck Davis, you're in open territory, really. You really weren't contested. I'd like to see that ball caught.
And Omar Brown makes the interception.
Lamarck Davis did do one good thing, though. The ball was intercepted. He put the defender right down on the spot.
So Lamarck Brown has it go through his hands. Omar Brown makes the pick, and the Ravens are back in business. First down and 10, Baltimore. The slide, the move, and a pickup of 3.5. Cliff Matthews with the tackle.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Final quarter coming your way after this. It's 24-17 Ravens. And the 14-year veteran out of LSU is right now with Hans.
I'm down here with the Mud Duck right now. 14 years. Unbelievable when you talk about longevity in this game.
Yeah, I've been blessed, man, to be here in Atlanta for my whole career. Someone's definitely been looking over me, and I'm just happy to be back for another season.
New offensive line coach this year, Pat Hill. How's his philosophy different, and how are the guys responding to it?
You know, Pat's come in with some new techniques for us that have really helped us out, that are going to help us in the long run, and just his positive attitude. He's glad to be here. We're glad to have him, and I think it's going to make for some good chemistry for us up front.
Well, we had Matt going in the locker room at halftime. I said, well, it's good to see you're upright. He goes, I'll be honest with you, they didn't even touch me. He said he didn't even get touched tonight. So you guys definitely doing a good job up front tonight.
Yeah, I felt like we came out in that first drive and we were hitting on all cylinders. You see what type of team we can have with the down the field passing game, and we had a screen in there, and I think that's what we're going to be about. And as long as we can keep number 2 upright and his uniform clean, I think we'll have a good year this year.
Todd, glad you're healthy and glad you're back on the field. Best of luck here in 2012.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Tom
it.
McClure, back to you guys.
All right, Hans, thank you very much. Thank you, Todd. And the Ravens on the move. This is Bobby Rainey again. In that third quarter, Baltimore had 107 yards of offense and scored 17 points. Atlanta just 37 yards and had 2 turnovers. Add the penalties to it, it wasn't a very good outing in that third period for the Falcons.
And while Baltimore continues to run their offense pretty efficiently, this is an opportunity now for at Atlanta, anyone on the Atlanta defense. You want to make the team? make a play, make a big play, force a turnover, help shut down a drive. That'll get the attention of the coaching staff.
Do it without penalties. 74 yards of penalties in the third period, and that's not good.
Nice play right there, though. That's Jonathan Massaquoi, the rookie out of Troy, defensive end, battling to make the squad.
He's having a pretty good ball game. You've called his name several times tonight.
Remember, Thomas Dimitrov said they got a pretty good battle at defensive end with a number of guys trying to bring pressure the Mike Nolan way. Massaquoi, Cliff Matthews will be in a pretty good battle, I think, for maybe the last defensive end spot.
3rd down and 5 over the middle. Extended catch by Val Savage.
That was a nice catch.
They hurry him back up to the line, no huddle. Curtis Painter calls out the offense. The defensive end we haven't seen is Louis Zegwu, the rookie out of Wisconsin. Pump fake, step up, throw, and dropped. That ball was intended for Graham, and he just seemed to take his eyes off of it the second time tonight.
I think he was making his move upfield before he secured the catch. He saw the open spot, was ready to try and get there, but he can't do it without the ball in his hands.
So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for Baltimore. Pressure backside, they throw the screen. This is Rainey. Cuts across the field from the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Baltimore. Bobby Rainey. And the rookie's been impressive.
Remember, tackling still at full speed, everyone trying to get adjusted to game speed. He broke a few when he went back against the grain. Looked like about 4 missed tackles inside. Normally, you run into that type of traffic, you're going to get knocked down, but Bobby Rainey, his first touchdown as a pro, asked for the football back. If nothing else, he'll have a memory. But I'm telling you now, he is heavy in the mix. If you're a Baltimore Ravens coaching staff and administrators about trying to make his team.
Rainey, 8 carries, 30 yards, 3 catches, 1 touchdown. Anna will say, hey, we did our job and we won. The young guys took over and they struggled. 31-17 is our score here in the 4th period. 12:20 remaining. You look at the quarterbacks, what a night by Matt Ryan, 9 of 13. He did have the 1 interception, the only blemish. Chris Redmond struggled when he got into the game. This is James Rodgers. Will take it 5 yards deep and take a knee. So they'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Atlanta Falcons will take over. And the Falcons will have it at the 20 when we come back. Game, a long preseason game as they normally are. A lot of players. We had a few injuries. Fortunately, nothing serious that we know of. Dominique Davis is the quarterback now for the Falcons. Straight ahead they go. Tone Smith picks up 4. Well, the goals of the offense this year for the Falcons, use the screen pass more. And you heard Todd McClure talk about that screen pass they had in the first half. Limit Michael Turner, which they tend to do this year, and improve the downfield passing game. And I think we saw all of that early in the ball game with Matt Ryan. Dominique Davis scrambles his way all the way to the sideline and throws incomplete. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
Now, Dominique Davis graduated from East Carolina. But Tim, you probably remember who he was trying to replace at his first school. He was at Boston College, trying to step into the void left by Matt Ryan. And was starting as a freshman there and actually played in the ACC championship game against Virginia Tech.
I remember it well. Did a couple of his games. As a matter of fact, when you go back and talk about Matt Ryan at Boston College, Tom O'Brien, who was the head coach there then, now at NC State, said he was the toughest player he's ever had at any position. Matt Ryan.
That tells you a lot.
Sure does.
And Dominique Davis almost had the deep strike.
It was intended for Jackson. Good coverage by Gore.
Marcus Jackson had the step on the cornerback for Baltimore. That's Danny Gore. Unable to complete the play, but he had it out there and they took the shot.
You know, back to Matt Ryan, when your coach says that, it's a great compliment. But when it comes from a guy like Tom O'Brien, a Marine. That's saying something.
Yeah, when a Marine calls you tough,
you know it.
You take that one and run with it, because they're not going to use that word very often for others outside of their branch.
Bobby Rainey has to go all the way back to the 23 to get that one, but what a kick. 51-yard punt. 11:22 remaining in the ball game. 31-17 Baltimore. Let's check out who's looking toward better health as Piedmont Healthcare presents It's Time to Get Better. And the question begs, what's up, Roddy White?
I changed my diet, lost a little weight, and I decided in July to work out all July. I didn't take a break off, and I went out there in that sun when it was 100 degrees. I was out there running. Okay, that's what I did to get better. Now what are you going to do?
Sounds like Charles Davis. He was out there running when it was 100 degrees.
A few years ago.
You look like you can still play, partner.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I look it. You and I both know we can't. Much as we'd love to go out there.
Isn't that the truth? You wonder where the years went, how fast they passed.
In your mind, you see all those plays being made, and then you shift into your couch and you realize I couldn't do that. That hurt just doing that.
That's funny.
Right? I mean, isn't that terrible when you have that little ache and you're like, where'd that come from? All I did was get up.
11:16 to play in this ball game. Three-step drop. And a short pass doesn't get a whole lot. May have lost a yard.
That was well defended. Love the way they converged, all getting to the football and making a play.
Peyton Thompson got there in a hurry.
But I love Roddy White talking about what he did to get better. Remember, this is a guy who's had 5 straight years of 80-plus catches and 1,000-plus yards receiving. And he's talking about what he did to get better.
I like how he looks at the camera and says, what'd you do?
That's a pretty good challenge for you now.
3rd down and 10. Painter throws over the middle, incomplete. That was intended for Ballas Savage.
And was a flag thrown on this play?
A late flag comes in.
Because they're calling it, if they're calling interference on this one or holding.
Defensive holding.
Holding, I have to see it, but it'll probably be detected in there.
John Harbaugh said he saw it.
Hoping it wasn't interference because I thought he had covered him well. Might find out why he covered him so well if he's holding.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 45. A 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
There's Pat Schiller.
How about that?
The linebacker. And illegal contact would be he's past the 5-yard zone for contact, and he contacted him before the ball got there. That's what the call would have been. And that's not a spot foul, like pass interference, so it comes back marked from the line of scrimmage.
So it'll be 1st down for the Ravens after the penalty. Falcons roll up in man coverage. Looks like a combo defense, so they take it right up the middle. Damian Berry having a pretty good ball game. Tackle made by Rico Council.
It's a good play by Council coming in. He kind of, see that, Tim? He kind of submarined in there, didn't he?
He did.
And put a lick on Damian Berry.
Rico Council, 6'1", 255-pounder. From right here in Georgia Tech. Second down. Breaks one tackle, spins, drives. Pretty good carry there. Damian Berry again. And Council makes the tackle again. Reuter got help.
Ravens playing with their no huddle now, trying to control pace. Substitutions again for the defense. Hard for you to roll your packages in.
Little swing pass. First down, move the chains into Falcon territory, goes Damian Berry.
See, and they got what they wanted on that, Tim. They got just that little bit of hesitation, confusion by the defense. Normally in that situation, you're thinking about getting your nickel package in. Well, when you go no huddle, can you really run them in? They might get to the line of scrimmage and quick snap you and end up getting a wide open Damian Berry in the flat.
We have a timeout on the field for an injury. This is
John Harbaugh was really upset on the sidelines there, trying to get that timeout. He was trying to get the official to call timeout because one of his players was down and they didn't see him.
So you see Berry, he makes the catch in the flat, makes the play. There's the tackle. Tough, hard tackle. It looks like his leg got trapped a little bit underneath. I think it's McLean on the tackle, number 27, Robert McLean. And I think Berry was trying to get off the field, Tim. I think he's trying to get to the opposite sideline, just couldn't make it.
9:06 to play. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. We'll be back. Moore has the ball on the 45-yard line. Curtis Painter is the quarterback. And Bobby Rainey putting on a show here in the second half. Here's Rainey, tries a stiff arm, and this time they've got him. Nice play by Thompson and Marquette.
They showed great quickness. I say great. They showed excellent quickness coming off the edge, and I think the timing of the play was off a little bit. Snap, trying to get the flip out, but that meant nothing to the Falcons defenders. They diagnosed it well and ran it down.
Great containment, strung out the play, made it 8:35 to play now. Looks like the Ravens are going to just try to melt the clock, shorten the game, keep the ball on the ground for the most part.
They like to play that way anyway, don't they?
They do.
I mean, that's part of their identity. We're going to be a tough, physical football team that runs the ball and controls clock. And
when you think about what Ray Rice did in this offense last year, he amassed 2,068 yards of all-purpose offense. He was their leading receiver. He was their leading ball carrier. And got a fat new contract, 5 years, $40 million for it. Painter rolls, throws, and it is incomplete on the sideline. Curtis Painter, the quarterback, signed in the offseason after starting half the games with the Indianapolis Colts last season. Did not win any of his starts, but the Colts struggled, of course. He had 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in Indianapolis.
There's the man himself, Ed Reed. No reason to be dressed out tonight.
No, Ed had the night off, as did Ray Lewis.
I think they'll be okay. I think things will work out for them come kickoff time for the regular season.
Charles, you'll love this. I was talking to Steve Bisciotti yesterday, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, and I said, do you get upset when people say your team is old? He says, let me tell you something. If I took Ray Lewis and Ed Reed off the field, we'd have the youngest defense in the league.
And it's true. They've run the numbers. I've seen that because they got tired of hearing people say that. And as we've talked about, and you've talked about this tonight, Atlanta and Baltimore do a really nice job of identifying areas, bringing people in to shore that up, even while guys are still playing, so they have the next guy ready to plug in and go. See Dominique Davis, nice throw to the sideline there.
It's Tim Toon.
Now, do you know what Tim Toon's famous for, besides having a very alliterative name?
Playing at Weber State.
And he was Mr. Irrelevant the year he came out in the draft.
Great call, Charles Davis.
Tim Toon from Weber State, a Weber State Wildcat. And that Mr. Irrelevant thing's pretty good now. You make a few dollars on it. They give you a parade. These have been a week long just getting faded. It's wonderful.
And does have an all-league name. Not to be confused with Tommy Toon. Here he is again. Toon with another catch.
That's nice. Nice catch. Nice throw.
And a first down. Exactly right. Let's go downstairs to Hans. What do you have, partner?
Hey, gentlemen. You know, other than the Falcons starting unit, both offense and defense looking outstanding tonight, the storylines will be the injuries. You know, 5th-round pick Brady Ewing went down his very first time he ever stepped on a professional football field. And the Falcons aren't going to issue a statement until tomorrow, but very, very emotional moment watching him come off the field, everything that he had worked on up until this point. And you could just wish the best for him. Akeem Dent, he got his bell rung. We'll find out a little bit more about his situation tomorrow as well. Back to you guys.
All right, Hans, thank you. Marcus Jackson with a good catch there. They move the chains again. 6:07 to play. And the Falcons showing some signs of life here late in the ball game. If you're just joining us, it was a terrific first half by the Falcons, and you see Nisley is shaken up.
He took a big pop there, but what a catch. We're going right into the briar patch there, Tim, and made the catch. Youngster out of UCF. And let's hope that Brady Ewing and Akeem Dent are both fine. See, there's Brady Ewing, the 5th-round pick, the fullback from Wisconsin. Started his career at Wisconsin as a walk-on there. Lamar Holmes is a guy they really want to get a look at. The offensive tackle from Southern Mississippi. Missed a lot of time during the offseason, had a broken foot, just now trying to get back into form where they can have him out there competing at the left tackle position with Sam Baker and Will Svitek, first and foremost. And, of course, Peter Kahns, I think he's their center of the future. Hans already interviewed Todd McClure, 14 seasons here. Rarely misses a start, but at some point that transition will happen. Peter Kahns is their apparent, but I would not be surprised at all, Tim, if Peter Kahns wins the right guard job before the season begins and plays there this season.
You know, Charles, we were talking about how good the Atlanta Falcons looked in that first half. Great plays, great action. Time to name our SunTrust solid play of the game. Let's take you back through the window of time and show you some of those plays, because Ryan and Jones were terrific.
Look at that. That was right after a pass to Roddy White. Then they came back very quickly after the strike downfield. They go with the inside screen to the wide receiver. And then how about this wraparound and catch for a touchdown by Julio Jones. Secretariat was on display tonight wearing number 11 in Falcons red.
Dominic Davis goes down, but there's a look at Julio Jones. Was spectacular. And I mean to tell you, folks, 6 catches, 109 yards, the touchdown, virtually unstoppable in that first half. Matt Ryan, very comfortable. The offense looked good. The offensive line, which had been a question mark with Baker, Blaylock, McClure, Reynolds, and Claybo, all did their jobs, protected Ryan very well. You heard him tell Hans earlier that he didn't even get touched. So for the first half, the first quarter especially, Falcons and Falcons fans have to be very excited. 2nd down and 18 after the sack, the pass, the strike. And it's not going to be enough for the first down, but certainly was a good play. And a catch by Aaron White.
And Georgia Bulldog staying close to campus in Athens. Dominic Davis has looked good throwing the football, I think, when he's been out here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he looks good in the pocket. He can move around a little bit. He's going to have a hard time making this roster because they have 2 guys ahead of him that they trust. John Parker Wilson and Chris Redmond. But Dominic Davis is putting some things on tape right now. Playing well.
Stands tall. He's 6'3". Another completion. Scoop and scores. The thought of the Ravens right now as they pick it up and go the other way. And so a turnover hurts the Ravens, or hurts the Falcons rather, once again here in the second half.
And that's the NFL game. Remember, the Green Bay Packers on defense last year, I think, were 31st ranked out of 32 teams.
White made the catch, turned it upfield, had it poked out from behind.
But those were the types of plays the Packers made last year. They helped them get to 15-1.
And then Omar Brown with the return, and he was thinking scoop and score. I want to make this club.
And those are the types of plays the Falcons are going to want to make on defense with Mike Nolan. They've had a tradition of doing that. Was it 33 out of their last 35 games? They've had at least one takeaway. I think Mike Nolan's going to try and amp that up a little bit and get those numbers jumped up, because if so, we've seen that with Super Bowl winners. The Saints, huge on takeaways the year they won it. The Packers go 15-1 last year with their takeaway numbers. That's how you win in the game today.
We talked about how solid they were in the first half, the Atlanta Falcons, and I think the coaches will be a little frustrated with some of the play of the younger guys who are trying to make this club. We see Chester Stewart now at quarterback for the Ravens. His first appearance of the night. Chester Stewart, the 6'3", 220-pound rookie out of Temple. I saw him go into College Park last fall and spank the Maryland Terrapins.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, second down.
Talked a lot about the goals of the Falcons tonight. The Ravens say they want to solidify their offensive line. They want to get more consistency with Joe Flacco. They want to keep Ed Reed playing at a high level. This is a contract year for Ed Reed. He's trying to get a new contract. Actually thought about coming in late to camp, but he showed up on time. And he and Ray Lewis not even suited up tonight.
Now they got plenty of time, but someone who showed up there was Massaquoi for the Falcons at defensive end on the toss. You saw that, Tim. You know, I've been singing that young man's praises all night. The rookie out of Troy.
Absolutely.
And he held the point of attack really well. Was able to get into the backfield and make a play. That urgency you've been talking about for the rookies, right? And the young guys trying to make the team. They can't look at the scoreboard and play right now. 31-17 should not matter to them. It's this snap right now. Do I make a play that's a winning play? It'll help your team, but also help your cause. And there's one right there.
Kicked off. Chester Stewart waited, telegraphed, and McClain read him, reacted, and picked it.
Now, you called his name a lot tonight, Tim, Robert McClain. I mean, he's had some heat on him. He's had to cover a lot of times. He's been involved in plays downfield, covering receivers. And I think he's acquitting himself pretty nicely tonight. I think this interception is this isn't the only good play he's had all night. He's had a few others, too. This is the one that he'll remember the most, obviously, because he'll get the most attention.
And you made the point. I mean, there's a lot of competition in that secondary, and it's going to be tough to make this ball club back there. But he's getting this all on tape, and there'll be a spot somewhere for a player like that. Somebody that can make plays, young guy.
Might be a practice squad guy.
Sure.
You know, be able to come along. We've seen many of those guys get bumped up from there and have very productive careers.
Davis rolls right, shows some of that mobility you talked about. Now throws deep, has Toon, and it's complete. There is a flag down, but Toon adjusted his route to move with Davis, and this is going to be called back. Still an impressive hookup.
Holding, offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
How about that throw?
That was a very nice throw. Good route by Toon and going to the open spot, but I think Dominique Davis helped him too. We probably overused the term throwing someone open, but he threw it to the open spot and made Toon go get it. And I like that about the throw.
Partner, let's go back to a second on McClain and put an exclamation to his night. The exclamation point is 6 tackles, 1 interception. And for a young guy, that's a good evening.
Yeah, he's pretty active. I know he had the pass interference call on the deep ball, but the beauty of it, he didn't give up the play. You know, if you're going to get the penalty, don't let him catch it too. And that's exactly what he did not do.
Dangerous pass thrown into coverage over the middle. Well, you're right about the penalties, and for Atlanta, that has been the bad point tonight. 9 penalties, 115 yards. That won't make Mike Smith very happy.
No, but the good thing is the coaches review all the penalties. It would be fun to find out, if we could, how many of the penalties the coaches actually said, okay, we're going to ding you for that one, because they'll absolve you if they look up and it wasn't a penalty. All right, sometimes they get called. It'd be interesting to see at the end, out of those 9, how many of the coaches will legitimately say, okay, that's a penalty as we've seen it in the NFL.
Davis on 2nd and 20 sets up the little screen pass, and I mean, he just gets tattooed. Oh my, Christian Thompson with a terrific hit. He's the rookie out of South Carolina State.
An ineligible man downfield on the screen is the call. But if you're the Ravens, you just go ahead and say, forget that. Let's take this play.
During the play, ineligible downfield, offense, number 64. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Remember, you can't get downfield in the NFL till that ball is
Davis on
caught behind
second
the
and
line of
20 sets
scrimmage.
up the little screen pass. And
Wow. Yes, Christian Thompson, South Carolina State, as you noted, Tim. I saw him at the East-West Shrine game this past year and applying his trade, and heard that he's picking up the defense pretty quickly for Baltimore. And there's Mike Smith writing some more notes, as most coaches do, write a note to themselves about what they see, about what they like, what they don't like, what to discuss later, all those thoughts that go through their heads that they don't want to lose.
Dominic Davis on 3rd and 21 and throws it away. He bought all the time he possibly could and then said, throw it away.
Yep. Don't take the sack deep.
Well, there's fantasy football and there's legit fantasy football. NFL.com Fantasy offers a legit NFL managed league with free live scoring and instant video highlights. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. So with 2:27 remaining in the ball game, the Falcons will punt it away. Bobby Rainey is standing at his own 40, and this will take him back inside the 30. Looking for some space and gets out to the 44-yard line before he's taken down from behind. So a 53-yard punt.
See who made that tackle?
Massaquoi, your guy. Your guy.
You can't tell I like his like how he plays, can you?
You keep calling his name. I like it.
I'm going to find him. If he keeps giving me reason to talk about it, I won't be shy about it. That's a defensive end on punt coverage.
Coaches were giving us a hard time before the game, almost like we were players. They said, we're going to go back and watch this broadcast.
Oh, yeah,
Make sure you guys are all right.
There's no doubt about it. We'll get our full critique before long. Here's hoping they let us come back for the next one.
Amen, brother. Chester Stewart, the quarterback. And he'll try to keep it on the ground. Bobby Rainey picks up 3.5. Call it 4. Ravian Robertson made the tackle. 2-minute warning. We'll be back. The Falcons in that first half pretty much dominated play. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones has been well documented how well they played early on. But they're playing a lot of guys, more than 90 guys on these rosters. They have to cut down by August 28th to get down to 80 players. 2nd down and 6 for Baltimore. Straight ahead they go. Bobby Rainey getting a pretty good workout here in the second half. So who was on top of his game tonight? Let's find out with our Russell Athletic performance of the game.
Looks like Dominique Franks, the cornerback in competition to make the team. He and Darren Walls will have a little bit of a battle.
Looks for a wall.
So he'll be the 5th one. And what Dominique Franks can do to help separate himself is to continue to have performances like that punt return, a 45-yard return in the first half to help set up things for the Atlanta Falcons.
Meanwhile, Bobby Rainey with 12 carries, 36 yards. And there's a flag as Stewart throws that incomplete.
There they are right next to each other. Number 24, Dominique Franks. Number 29, Darren Walls. And a nice night for Franks, adding 4 tackles to the dynamic punt return.
This team has a lot of good young talent.
On the defense,
they do.
Number 97, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. The result of the penalty is a first down.
And there's Louis Zegwu, who's called for the penalty, and that's not the way you want your name called.
Not quite the way you want to get the coach's attention. Is that what you're saying?
No. He's another talented player, though, the rookie out of Wisconsin.
So here's his chance now. You make a mistake, right? Let it go. Make a play. It looks like Baltimore just wants to let this bad boy run on out.
Final 70 seconds of this ball game, the first preseason game. NFL now underway officially. Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North champions, will walk away with the win. 31-17 will be the final, and John Harbaugh saluting his guys for their effort. Of course, Matt Ryan, what a great job he did tonight.
Yep. You made the point earlier, Tim. The frontline guys for the Falcons had control of this football game. You know, if anybody's watching, you really shouldn't take any scores from preseason.
No, that's right.
Think that you've got anything out of it. But these two teams, and this is without hyperbole, could easily meet again at the end of the year in the last game. I mean, it could happen. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Remember that Sunday night game they had here, or Thursday night not too long, a couple seasons ago? Matt Ryan was 42 of 50 or whatever it was, throwing the ball and ran the game out of no huddle the whole second half. Atlanta could go toe-to-toe with Baltimore and not blink. They've beaten them before in the regular season. It's a good matchup in the preseason to get things started.
So an impressive night for the Falcons in the first half. Ravens came back in the second half. Ravens 31, Falcons 17. We'll have more after this.